Alright.
Hello, is this thing on?
Hello, we are back.
Is there anyone there? I need a bigger gun. Send help if you can.
Well, unfortunately, it's time to fight crime!
Yes, crime. In the future, Hal and Dave will have a wired connection, but now is not the future. Focus bar full.
I hate the brutes are just annoying guys because it's just like you.
They have too many hoodies on, therefore they are protected.
Basically. Well, I'm gonna take this guy out first. Spider kick. There we go.
You just got decked.
Yeah. Well, here, have impact webbing.
Right to the wall.
Yep. Because I am the Spider-Mans. And nobody messes with the Spider-Mans, except for the Spider-Mans. Alright. Let's actually continue the friggin' story. I solved crime for now. But once again, crime will come back. But then I'll solve it again. You can't access them yet.
AJ Shim asks if the game has a Mangaverse suit.
No, that one's not available, but I'm sure DLC will take care of that eventually, or something.
You think so? I feel like that Mangaverse might have just been something that was forgotten.
It's not a bad costume, is the thing, so I can easily imagine it coming back. But to be fair, I wouldn't mind doing a Japanese Spider-Man costume. It wouldn't look too different, but it'd be fun to have the bracelet and have, like, left hard-on comes down as a power or something. Change Leopardon!
Yeah, Leopardon's fist just comes out of the sky.
Yes. And it's just like, thanks, Leopardon! And he's like, you're welcome, Peter. By the way, go see your family. Oh! Pull him from the ground. He actually has magnetic wings. That's his whole gimmick, actually. The reason he did that was so people would think that he actually uses, like, air currents and shit. And when they don't know his actual gimmick, they can't deal with it. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. Believe it or not, that's how his powers actually work.
Pro tip. If you're not good at breaking or entering, maybe don't pull a B&E.
I solved crime in Hell's Kitchen. Daredevil, I put you out of the job.
Matt Murdock just comes down the street with, like, his cane, like, poking around.
He's just like...
And it's like, huh? Are there people?
I don't know, because I'm not really blind as you think I am. And it's like, we know you're Daredevil, Matt! And it's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Want to talk about that, Peter? And then it's like, you win this round. Oh, sweet. We now can actually get the friggin' research tokens done. Yep. So, this is one of the many things. This is a research station. This is where we get our research tokens. So they're all over the city, and these are little side missions to the main course.
AJ Shim asks, is there a rubber CGI Spider-Man suit from 2002?
No, unfortunately not.
That was pretty close to his regular look, though, so I can see why it wasn't in here.
I would not put the movie costumes, especially Amazing 2 and the Raimi trilogy, because they are super similar. Besides the fact that the costumes tend to be silver in color. So we're going to do this mission. And we're going to solve science!
That's right, Johnny McJim, we're back. And we hope to stay back.
Yeah, we're back.
Hal will kick as many people off the router as he needs to.
Hal will fight with his bare fists.
My bare robot fists.
Alright, so this mission is not too bad. It's very simple. But we want to do it so we can get research tokens, so we can unlock more bullshit.
Particles are concentrating in trouble spots. Like mini clouds.
Wow, look at this smog.
Yeah,
that is some inner city smog.
Yeah, it's only like this for part of it, so we gotta swing through it.
Nasty as they are, I gotta swing right through those clouds.
So, because Spider-Man apparently only knows how to do science through masochism.
For these clouds to be visible to the naked eye, the level of toxins.
Apparently, I love Peter, but it's like, Peter, there's probably a better way to do this than sheer spidery masochism.
I hope he's got a gas mask on that suit.
Sometimes not. But right now, Peter's just going through the smog and being like, yo, smog, I need to...
I mean, this is just a normal day in New York.
Yeah, Peter's just like, oh god, smog. The smog. This is kind of annoying because you have to swing it a certain way, but the game doesn't really give you a hint that you have to do it in a certain way. Got it.
So you have to do like those rapid ascents?
Something like that.
I'm getting some good stuff.
There we go.
Good sample.
Peter, stop smoking the smog! Jesus. There we go. As you can see, Peter can only do science through sheer masochism. And that actually might be canon to some level. Sheer spidery masochism.
Feels like I'm breathing from a tailpipe.
Yes, you are, Peter.
Stunning visuals, though.
Yes. Hey, it's a New York sunset. Smoke. Peter, if you get lung cancer from this, I'm gonna say it's your fucking fault.
Suspicious Spy says Smog sounds like a villain name.
It might actually be a villain name.
I am the Smog!
Two types of cars.
No one wants to hang around with me. They find it difficult to breathe.
So, this is fun. Now we gotta find cars that have the smog issue.
Wait, are we really just, like, solving urban smog problems?
Yes.
Great light on that one.
Yep. Because Spider-Man apparently...
is an environmentalist.
Well, apparently Harry Osborn's an environmentalist. And to be fair, maybe...
He's going green. Goblin, that is. I don't think you got it.
Perfect.
There we go. I'm not going to really worry about this because I just kind of want to get it done. Because this mission is very simple and it's not very fun to get through.
As Renault accurately points out, Smog? Is this Lord of the Rings?
Smaug.
Smaug?
Well, Spider-Man's just going to have to go up and solve the environment!
Spider-Man versus the environment.
Coming soon. Well, there's also the infamous issue where Spider-Man solves teen pregnancy.
What?
I'm not even kidding.
Best smokestack picture I ever took. The Department of Environmental Protection will take it from here. Maybe I should make a green spider costume for Earth Day.
No, don't!
Spider Green.
Well,
Spider Green.
Alright, so...
looks ridiculous in Spider Green.
So now, I can make costumes! So guys, I'm gonna let you choose. Let's see, I'll make him. I'll make you this. And, okay, I need
negative suit.
The negative suit looks pretty cool. So guys, should I actually get more research tokens to make the negative suit? I want your opinions.
Alright, chat. Let's hear it. Are we gonna go grind for the negative suit, or what?
Or do you want me to continue on the main story path? Well, I actually can do this very simply.
Financial shock. Stop Shocker at the bank.
Oh, sweet. Boss fight.
Well, I think we're going to the boss fight then.
Yeah, we're going to do something exciting. But right now, we're going to do this in the homecoming suit. Apparently. Let's...
The Stark suit.
Actually... Oh, yeah, I want that power.
I knew Shocker was working for someone.
But first, backpack.
What did you get out of the
Backpack, backpack.
AJ Shim wants to see the negative suit, so does Renault.
Alright, so... Okay, so we can actually get... So we can kill two birds with one stone very easily here. How much do I need for this? Oh, I just need one. Okay. We don't actually have to do much grinding for it. I just gotta do this. Boom.
The bank.
And we are just going to go over there. Because you actually get a research token for just opening that place up, and we only need one of it.
Nice.
So, not hard to just go get it. Whee! Spider Dave.
I've been looking into the demons. Sounds like they've quietly established a power base in the vacuum left by Fisk.
A vacuum I created by putting Fisk away.
So, see?
Jameson was right. The demons are my fault.
Because I discovered it, I got a research token. And
Very
so,
nice.
I can actually make the costume now. So, you...
Pie bids on 5, by the way.
Yeah, 5, fair enough. But, we can also unlock this costume, but I might actually unlock it just because of the power. Because it's actually kind of useful. But the negative suit, this is close to the black suit of this game to an extent. It's not too bad, actually. I actually kind of dig the look. So, so we're going to fight the Shocker in this costume. Because why not?
That is a legit filter there.
It's the actual friggin' negative zone from Fantastic Four. He actually got a super special, awesome stealth costume. He's actually coming with an extra costume, too. So there is a chance of actually seeing more costumes. But Insomniac put a lot of original costumes in this game. Surprisingly.
Original?
Yeah, we got a couple of them. Though I think one we need to get the update, and I'm not sure if we got the update on our account or not, because internet stuff. Whatever. Anyway, we're gonna fight the Shocker, people. In the negative costume.
Are you positive?
I'm very positive.
Yeah.
I'm not a Mr. Negative.
So what's the Shocker's deal? He just...
Long time no see.
Alright, the Shocker's deal is very simple. He's the most normal of all of Spider-Man's villains.
So he just wants some money.
He just wants money.
So he does the classic villain thing of robbing the bank.
Well, it's not just wanting some money, it's also he wants to just do a job without having to develop personal issues as Spider-Man either. He's professional. Or tries to be. Doesn't always work.
So
he's not busy trying to find out Spider-Man's identity or anything like that.
He doesn't even care that much.
He's just like, I'm just gonna steal my money.
I just was trying to have a nice day. Oh god, gotta dodge, gotta dodge. Okay, cool. Oh dang it, dodge, dodge, dodge. Alright, this boss fight is a little annoying because... Alright. Come on. I can do this. Nah,
right into the pillar.
Okay. We're gonna restart that one.
And Shocker has his victory.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thankfully, this isn't that hard. It's just... I also got to set up the suit power here. We're gonna get our Spider Bro in this case.
Me so young and stupid, you just stupid. You talk so much. Well, that's a matter of opinion. I mean, is there any standard metrics for how much talking one should do? And who determines the ideal ratio of talking versus...
Come on. Yes, I got him.
Okay, now I can do some real damage. Why are you doing this, Herman? Because if I don't kill me. Catch! You come clean, I can help you. You really want to help me? Let me have the money. Sorry, not gonna happen. Stand still. If you ask nicely, maybe.
Come on. Yes, 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 yes.
Oh,
yeah! Oh yeah! Hi, 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 hi! Whoa!
So he like burns out his suit right after he does that.
Yeah, basically. That's how the boss fight is supposed to work. And now we're in the second phase.
we in quick time land?
Yeah. Not yet. I don't think this fight actually has quick time events, but I might be forgetting it. But I love the black on that suit. Looks really sweet. Oh, shocker. Okay, I also have to admit, even though the Shocker has a dumb costume, they do establish that he only wears it because it's freaking practical, and not the fact that he wants to look like a yellow mattress.
It cushions him from his own shockwaves.
Yes! That is the canon reason of why he looks that dumb.
Nope, gotta try something else.
Oh, dang it. Oh, dang. Gotta dodge, gotta dodge, gotta dodge, gotta dodge. Oh, dang.
You got the dodge.
Dang it. Because I think the whole idea is that we hit him with the shockwave. When he does that, we hit him with something, but I gotta be out of the shockwave. I'm trying to remember this boss fight.
Okay.
I can help you cut a deal. If I talk, I'm dead. They made that very clear.
If I talk, I'm dead. Except you did talk.
Yes! Got it.
You're freaking me out, Herman. It's not like you to be afraid of people. Not even sure these guys are.
Yeah, that's actually true. Herman, though, you know, you don't mock the Shocker. He's the only villain who has his own mobile. Besides the Joker sometimes.
Shocker mobile?
Yeah, he actually has a Shocker mobile.
Tell me it's like some awesome ground effect vehicle.
It's a padded... It looks like the Spider-Mobile, but padded. It's great. I love it.
Spider-Mobile?
Yeah. Nah,
yes.
It's literally only purpose is to make fun of things. Come on, I can do this. I can do this. Yes! I only have to do this one more time.
Spider Bro. Spider Bro.
What do they want the money for? Don't know. None of that finished the job. I'm gone.
Oh. Yes! Oh, dang it.
What went wrong?
Dang it, I thought I got him. Come on, yes! I can do it! Yes!
Give up now and we can protect you. No way! You ain't see what I...
Oh, Herman. Even though you're very respectable, you do know the best ways how to screw yourself over.
You son of a... Okay, last chance to give up. This time I really mean it. We're going!
He told you to quit moving. You obliged him.
Come on, come on, come on. Yes!
I was kidding before. Now is your last chance. Seriously.
What are we aiming for?
This
Do the thing.
do the thing. And I did the thing.
Sorry, Herman. You brought this on yourself. Literally.
Sorry, Herman. You're going to jail. I solved the shocker. Well, what is everybody's opinion of the negative suit and how it looks?
It's pretty fabulous, I'd say.
It's a pretty nifty suit. I solved the shocker.
He was scared and desperate. These demons are everywhere all of a sudden. Okay, Yuri. Shocker's all yours now.
Good work.
Yay, I leveled up. Woo!
Also,
sweet.
I'm pretty sure he was working for the Demon Gang.
Demon Gang? Sounds like a Daily Bugle headline.
Hey, the Bugle is a perfectly fine news organization.
Not sure I'd call it news.
Well, I've heard they have some really good reporters. Anyway, have you...
Like my girlfriend. You have a girlfriend? Yes.
Let me get back to you. By the way, how much of a mess did you make inside that bank?
A lot.
You probably don't want to know.
Shouldn't have asked.
Well, let's get this backpack token.
When MJ and I applied for this lease, I thought we'd move in together.
Ah!
Instead, we broke
The saddest.
Wow. This is literally like Peter Parker's parallel of my relationship with my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Fight with Shocker took a while. Time to catch up on what I've been missing out in the city.
I'm gonna move on with my life. Now, let's upgrade my skills.
Instead, I had radioactive spider powers.
Don't we all wish we had radioactive spider? Oh yeah, gotta get this. And we will also get that. This will be great for movement. Check this out. Well, let me see if I can do it again. So I now took point launch break. You saw the Spider-Man can now boost even faster. His movement is much more powerful now. Also, we're gonna go get some more little research tokens. Because why not? I can find it, jeez. It's right here. That there. Wait, there's crime! I haven't solved crime? Impossible!
He just has like a little equation on his wall that he thinks solves crime, but it's just like 2 + 2.
Ugh. Well, I thought I solved it.
Peter, I might have been a bit hasty advising you to find another job. I have a plan. Give me a bit of time. We may yet live to invent another day.
The indomitable radioactive. That's great news. Hope this plan works.
Frack you, demon!
What the frack? So your power is Spider Bro?
Yeah, I have a little drone that follows me and shoots people. Yeah, well,
as long as you're not shooting anyone,
well,
right?
hold it. Electrifies them with electric bullets.
Oh.
But what are commentary saying? What comments are we getting?
Professor Dragonite says he doesn't want radioactive powers in the real world. He'd end up like Firestar and get cancer.
Oh, God.
AJ Shim says, Dave, comic book question. What's your opinion on White Fox from Marvel?
White Fox? Oh, I've actually asked about her very recently. Believe it or not, White Fox. Not a bad character. Here's the thing. She just doesn't have enough written about her to really be all that interesting. Which sucks. Because, again, I'm all cool with new superheroes. It's just that you have to really put in the writing. There's a lot. A whole friggin' lot. Like, to give you an idea, let me tell you about Shamrock, the Irish superheroine whose powers rely on luck. From gods. It is weird.
Which gods?
I think it's Celtic gods or something.
Irish gods?
Yeah, Irish gods. Or Irish mythology. Anyway. She's a character who actually does it. Well, actually, speaking of leprechauns in the Marvel Universe, okay, guys. Now, if you know, I don't want you to answer this. But I want everybody in chat to find out the first time we ever heard Wolverine's name as Logan. Now, for a long time, people thought that was Wolverine's real name, I want people to guess the first time we ever heard it in actual comics, where we heard it from. If people can guess, I want to hear what they think.
From a leprechaun?
Yes, actually, from a freaking leprechaun. Thank you, Hal, for ruining that.
I mean, you set it up.
I did. Yes, the X-Men were in, like, an Irish mansion that was haunted by leprechauns, and a leprechaun told us Logan's name.
Comic books are weird.
In all seriousness, yeah, that's the first time we ever heard Wolverine's real name as Logan. Was from a friggin' leprechaun.
Irish stereotype. It's like the Scotsman from Samurai Jack.
Oh god, I would say Shamrock's worse. A little bit worse. She's not that interesting. At least the Scotsman's kind of fun. She's kind of just boring, and she was just like, oh, I don't want to be a superhero anymore, I'm just done.
Wasn't the Scotsman's first appearances when they're on that bridge?
Yeah.
And they're like, please, step aside. And he's like, nah. Okay, fine, I will go under the bridge. And he's like, and you get a peek at me kilt? No way.
It was great. We're gonna get some stealth mission going on. Yeah, baby.
Stealth mission that does not involve Mary Jane?
Yeah. Well, okay, I'm gonna tell you this. The stealth missions where you don't play as Spider-Man are entirely useless in a gameplay sense.
I agree.
Because
I don't like it when games do that.
Here's the problem with them. One of the fun things about Yakuza is that it gives you the option to do random weird game mechanic bullshit that you can't normally do. Like play arcade shit and stuff, you know? Or do pocket racing. This one forces you to do stealth sections where there are mechanics that you only use in those sections.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of when they take you away from what is the core gameplay of a game.
Yeah, it's really kind of dumb. So I'm going to set up the stealth in this case. And in this case, we're going to go Spider-Man Noir. We're going to bring back Noir, baby! Because we're going to try and do this sneakily. Hey.
That sniper has a guard watching him.
Princess Luna says, MLP had Irish stereotypes today in its episode. Raku using old cultic using the old cultic star chart to steer a hippogriff ship into rocks. Professor Dragonite says, this is why I stopped watching MLP.
Ah, man, okay, it's kind of, I'll say this. It's a little hard for me right now because now I'm thinking of mechanics I don't actually have access to do these stealth missions.
I thought you were going to say, now you're thinking of My Little Pony.
No, I never think of it. Unless it's in relation to Transformers in some weird way. At this point in my life.
How they coexisted on the hub for a time.
Well, they did. Alrighty, let's get you.
Sleep it off.
Hey, man. Fall asleep.
Suspicious Pie says a suit change may help with camouflage.
Nah, I wish. But look at the costume in this light. Oh my god, it looks so good. I love this look for Spider-Man.
Leather spider. Covered in animal skin leather spider.
You're going down.
Literally didn't see that coming.
Nice.
Takes guys down, then ascends. Look out, here comes the Spider-Mans.
You're going down because... And then I activate my... Going down, going down.
Going up, Spider-Man. Why is the world very gray?
Because I activated my stealth powers. Look out!
Here comes Spider-Noir. The sound of silence.
Yep. Let's see. Can I take that guy down? No, I can't take that guy down yet. I can probably take out the sniper there.
Alright, Renault says to Dave, Sam Fisher or Solid Snake?
Better character, I think, is Solid Snake. Sam Fisher has some more interesting stealth mechanics going on. I actually think that... I kind of dig Sam Fisher as kind of a more realistic take, if I'm being honest. But I think Snake's a better character overall.
I can't talk. I've only played Metal Gear Solid.
That's my opinion of it.
I just know that Metal Gear Solid is like, you know, half war fan fiction, half G.I. Joe.
Oh god, it is so G.I. Joe. A lot of the characters...
They have their own Gray Fox. I mean, Snake Eyes.
In all seriousness, there's a lot of characters who could possibly be, like, friggin' G.I. Joe characters in Metal Gear.
The Pain. He has the power of bees.
Like, in all seriousness. But I think Solid Snake is a better character overall. Though I think, I do think, Splinter Cell has the better stealth mechanics. Though, I always liked one criticism of the Splinter Cell series until recent games.
Nah.
Was that you couldn't work your way out of a situation if you fuck it up. You would just fail the mission right there.
Oh.
That was a thing in the earlier games, and I thought that was actually a pretty good criticism of the series. Even though I think Splinter Cell is overall kind of a better stealth experience overall, in my opinion.
Because Metal Gear tries to include so many other elements. It turns itself into, like, a cinematic action game at so many points.
It's... Oh, dude. Well, Metal Gear Solid is meant to be kind of a movie to an extent. So, and you know what? That's fine. Like, if they want to do it in that style, they have a right to do it.
Well, I mean, as far as characterization goes, the characterization of Solid Snake back in the original Metal Gear Solid is very interesting. Because they managed to sell you on, like, he's this veteran hero surrounded by a bunch of people who are less experienced. And so he always feels like he's got some great insight into things that other people around him don't understand. And that was really cool, especially when you consider the game came out in 1998. Like, that was something you would not have seen in gaming before then.
Come on, I want you to not look at each other. Or at the very least, not follow each other. Damn it. Okay. Then there's only one way to do this.
Double takedown.
There we go.
Wow, that was good.
Thank you. I've become a lot more accustomed to stealth mechanics. Though I do hate the time stealth challenges they put in later. They are interesting. Because there's a lot of actual fast movement stealth, which I always hate because to me stealth, you kind of want to be methodical about it.
Narwhal Storm. He almost forgot to watch this. Almost.
Yeah, but you know, there's reasons why.
AJ Shim says, Sam Fisher doesn't have a Japanese soap opera story that doesn't make sense.
Oh, dude, everything has a soap opera story that doesn't make sense. You might as well be talking about, like...
Instead of Snake versus Fisher, how about Michael Ironside versus David Batter? That's what Professor Dragonite says. You are referring to David Hayter. And,
David Batter.
In a competition... Yeah, this is Batman. David Batter. David Batter. The unbattable Batman.
Let's see. Go away.
I mean, in a sexy voice contest, I feel like they kind of tie because they have different qualities of sexy to their voice.
All right, let's set. All right, don't want that. Want that. Hold on, let's see ya.
Nice. I mean, because my exposure to Michael Ironside was first him as Darkseid in the DC animated universe.
Oh, that's one of his best roles.
He was so excellent. He managed to be so, like, confident and sinister, and at the same time actually very soft-spoken.
It's true. Alright.
And then, you know, David Hayter has his... I've been smoking 10 packs a day.
So, this is interesting. This is Jefferson Davis. He is the father of Miles Morales.
No, we can't have vigilantes trespassing or doing illegal searches. Yeah, I know. Which is why I brought a warrant.
I gotta admit, I am glad that they let you have whatever costume you like and even reflect that in cutscenes.
What's your name?
Really, I like that a lot.
Call me Jeff.
You know, at least you have choices. I do remember, like, somebody was complaining about this costume being out of place in this game, and I'm like, yeah, it is, but I'm glad it's there. I look so cool with my aviator goggles.
Okay. I'll find another way in.
Spot.
Oh, wow.
Any place this rundown should have a hole in the wall or a broken window.
Check around back. I'd go myself, but you know, not Spider-Man.
Yeah, I find this interesting again, that, like, Spider-Man really wants to be a good citizen. Yeah, he's, like, right here, he's cooperating with the police, he's not breaking and entering.
This is actually...
I feel like Batman would just be like, whatever, I'm in.
It's Batman. He does whatever the fuck he wants.
You got Batman.
But now we got Spider-Man. But anyway.
I feel like I'm in a horror movie. Hello?
God, I love the lighting.
And a hook for a hand?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where's that locked door?
You know, I remember I used to kind of think about the way games used to light themselves in, like, older generations of games. Because I remember even then, like, there were some games where I'm like, man, this scene could have been better lit.
I'm doing my best to refrain from knock-knock jokes.
And I don't really, like, see that too much anymore.
Yeah.
Because graphics have advanced so far and standards for art have advanced so far that it's hard to find a scene that doesn't have some kind of cool lighting.
Yeah. Alright, this is going to be an interesting thing. So we're going to get another piece of tech for us.
Capacitors in this are just what I need for an upgrade I've been thinking of.
We get we get our own little tasers.
Taser webs?
Yes.
Taser webs.
Taser webs.
Knocks bad guys out with electric shocks.
And I'm going to upgrade that because this is actually pretty handy. So.
And Professor Dragonite brings it up. There was an article about Spider-Man being a cop in this game that triggered a guy who is writing the review who has a hate boner for the NYPD. I was trying to avoid talking about that earlier.
I'd rather not talk about it too much, but I'll give my opinion. You do actually see Spider-Man fight other cops in this game too, who are on the take. In the first level, no less. So even if you want to say that article had a point, it isn't reflective of the actual game.
Let's look closer.
I mean, I think the writer had a chip on their shoulder, and it was totally uncalled for.
Not the only chip I've seen writers have, but to me it's like this. I feel like if I'm gonna have a chip on my shoulder, I want to make sure it's right. Believe it or not.
Sound hollow to you?
Let's see.
Yeah, well, especially considering if you actually read that article, they kind of mentioned that they were only like 5 hours into the game when they wrote that review, and they were just upset about one particular thing, and they were tearing the entire game down about a very minor detail, which I think is very unprofessional to call yourself a game critic when, one, you have not finished the game. Like, imagine if you were a book reviewer and you read like 2 chapters of a 30-chapter book and then wrote the whole review. That's essentially what that is.
Well, I can say this. To me, it's like, I can understand not being able to finish a game in about a week for some things. Like, I imagine that if I was a reviewer, I could have, if I had a week lead time, I probably could have finished this. I probably could have actually done a review of Spider-Man the game very easily. That's my opinion.
Well, that's the problem. One of the big problems that reviewers, like game critics these days, face is that they have a lot of games they have to review, and they have to do it in a short span of time, so they can't take time out to enjoy themselves when they're playing like a 60-hour game. They're like, oh fuck, gotta finish, gotta write that review. And sometimes they don't even finish. And so like their experience is so harried and so forced that they can't often properly evaluate it, because I've definitely seen games which like have taken me weeks if not months to finish, and I thought they were a great time and I enjoyed the slow burn, and then critics were like, oh, this game is awful. And it's like, that's because they had to do it in the span of a week and crunch all that gameplay.
Nice, stuck the landing and everything.
We're not all donut eaters.
Fair enough.
But while Spider-Man does help, I mean, it's kind of fair to point out that, like, this game doesn't exactly have, like, in all seriousness, this game operates on a lot of grays, I find, because there's certain points where cops hate Spider-Man. Hell, this game, you're going to have an entire section where basically the entire law enforcement is going to call you names.
Wow. I mean, I like that. I like the way he's depicted so far. That he's trying to be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and he likes that branding. But he definitely has his own sense of right and wrong that he adheres to. And so it's not 100% of the time going to line up with the law.
Oh no. It's Peter, like, he'll do his best.
Did it open?
But Peter's a cute kid because he's got that sense of right and wrong that's kind of informed by his Uncle Ben.
Yeah, that's always been, like, one of my favorite things with Peter.
I bet these compartments go back before Fisk. Maybe the dog.
Nailed it.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Black Baladanka joined us.
Sweet. But if anybody has opinions on the whole idea here, I don't think that it's much a big deal.
Hey, check this out. Nothing. I'm starting to feel like this is Fisk's way of messing with
But, you know, it's dumb. It's a dumb article that really takes...
Yeah.
And besides that, I'm not going to go much further into detail than that.
We're done with that topic.
Let's talk about how awesome Spider-Man is.
Yeah,
Whee!
really. Because I remember there was one time where I would like read every game's review and like adhere to like their scores and be like, oh yeah, this is good, this is bad, and you know, in many cases,
Found it.
they were pretty accurate as to how good certain things were. Although in retrospect, I'm not sure Metal Gear Solid 4 deserved a 10 out of 10.
Clear.
In all seriousness, that game can basically be described as they didn't want to get the hatred for not giving it a 10 out of 10,
Jeff, trapdoor.
in my opinion.
Either that, or I would say that they found the short linear movie experience so entertaining and a nice break from like all the open world games or something. I don't know.
2, 3.
Thanks for making me feel
Hey,
better
we got
about...
Jefferson Davis here.
Jefferson Davis is pretty cool. I dig him.
Named after Jefferson Davis, apparently.
Yeah. Well, it's Miles Morales' father, so whatever. Miles is... We're going to get to Miles, but to tell you the truth, I kind of wish Jefferson Davis here was actually one of the main supporting characters. He seems pretty neat, actually. But whatever.
Let's see. Professor Dragonite asks, does any Metal Gear Solid game deserve a 10 out of 10? You know, I would consider Metal Gear Solid 5 a 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. And I can't believe that people are like, oh, this game is unfinished, because there is so much detail in that game that there is more stuff in it and more nuances in it than like many games that are quote-unquote finished. So that's my thing.
You said Metal Gear Solid, right?
Metal Gear Solid 5, yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, because like Metal Gear Solid 5 just, it's got an amazing level of detail. Even if the story sections aren't finished, there's just so many interactions and so much going on in that game. I think it's wonderful.
I don't know. But this isn't too bad. The investigation aspect isn't so bad here.
I mean, this game looks kind of like a 10 out of 10 from what I've seen.
It's a 10 that I have to knock some points off for the stealth sections when you have to play as either Mary Jane or Miles. And those have their own issues I want to get to, and I'll talk about them.
Ooh,
They didn't want the non-lethal
stuffing
stuff.
crates full
They
of
passed up smoke grenades,
hay.
flashbangs.
Yeah. And tasers. I can make more spider tasers.
Got empty crates here, and it looks like they.
And I can solve crime. Spider-Man, you can't actually solve crime.
There's a fenced-off
It
room
will
here they
solve
didn't
crime.
I guess we can have an episode titled Solve Crime. That's the stream. You know? Spider-Man will eventually solve all the crime.
To get in.
Alright, I had to look this up. Apparently Jefferson Davis was the
Stay here.
the only president of the Confederate States from 1861 to 1865.
Well,
That's a very interesting name they chose for this
I
game.
don't know why Bendis chose that name.
Bendis chose it.
It's his name in the actual comics. So I don't know why Brian Michael Bendis actually chose that friggin' name. Okay.
Find cover.
And now they're talking about street sharks and SWAT cats in the chat.
I'm fine with talking about Street Sharks.
That's Jawsome.
Now you're just showing off.
Freaking snipers.
Why don't you have like some like slow-mo power? You do a perfect dodge and you do like bayonet them.
You kinda do. But it actually... But Perfect... There's a lot of things, but you don't have a slow-mo move in this game. Which I'm actually okay with. The action feels much more kinetic.
Getting tased by Spider-Man.
Ah, frickin'
Ah, curse you, pillars in my way.
Frickin' pillars. But take this grenade! Of evil energy.
Yeah, clearly.
Oh, car chase time! Oh, no, wait, hold it. Hey, take your door! Though I wish more powers were available and more options were, because the gameplay... Let's do this. Electrocute. Oh, God, I hate the shield dudes.
Shield dudes. A staple of video gaming.
Who are somehow very powerful. Apparently...
Of course, they have shields.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Whenever I hear that, I just think of when we were playing Mega Man X3.
Take this barrel! Barrel Coat Barrels. Sponsored by HeatTech. Anyway.
He ragdolled with his shield.
Well, I'm gonna just take care of this guy. Finish him! But SWAT Cats is really good, and Street Sharks is really good. Who doesn't love Street Sharks and the first truck chase?
If I lose 2 trucks full of gunmen in one day, it's time to hang up the web.
Time to hang up the web. You know, Spidey, you say that now, but when that actually happens, you'll be like, I can't really do that.
I kind of wish they would... I kind of want a Spider-Man game to do an alternate ending where you can actually give up as Spider-Man if you wanted to.
He just walks away.
Yeah, and
he goes into the spider cave and turns off the lights, and he's like, never again.
Spider-Man never actually had a secret hideout, as far as I can tell.
I know. I think I was talking about this like last stream, but like I totally have had a few moments in my life recently where I just think of that Batman Beyond moment where Bruce Wayne turns off the lights in the Batcave and it's just like, never again. Never again. Yeah, gotta move on, gotta change life.
Well, or, you know, get back to it years later when you're a lot less possibly bitter.
Or more like when some youngin' breaks into your Batcave and steals your high-tech suit.
So if some youngin', like, steals our Let's Play controllers and becomes Hal Dave Beyond.
Yes, Hal and Dave of the future.
In the not-too-distant future, I'm gonna hit these guys who are in a truck! Hello.
Let's see. Professor Dragonite says, Hal, I got a rare blade out of a legendary crystal in Xenoblade 2. Witchcraft! He got Petroka, 500 crystals. Cosmos still eludes him.
Sorry, you'll never get Cosmos, ever.
Never, ever.
Do the thing, 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 do the thing!
I got my friends, who are pretty much all in the chat. Ooh, nice. You saved the people, Peter Porker.
I saved... Oh... Frackin' A.
No, Thomas Jefferson Davis Highway.
Why were you given such a terrible name? Why, Bendis? Why?
Man, okay, so he's gonna kill Spider-Man at all costs is his thing.
Yeah, well, he tried. But we succeeded.
But wait, yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine.
What? You're a hero!
He is. He saved Spider-Man's life.
We've now identified the officer as Jefferson Davis. We're being told he has minor injuries and is expected to make a full recovery.
Excuse me, miss. Are you supposed
Hey, MJ, I brought my sexy costume.
After that auction house thing?
Do you like my sexy costume?
I get to focus full time on
Man, the way he's like moving towards you, he's like, MJ, come get some.
Come on, MJ, I dressed up for
The closer I
you.
get, the better chance we have to stop them.
Oh, Peter.
We?
Officer Davis, Mary Jane Watson, Daily Bugle.
Okay. Question for Hal. What animated show has your favorite art style?
These guys are gonna tell their story with or without.
Do you mean like any out of like any animated show? Or are we talking like animated superhero shows?
I don't have one. I just listen.
Well, okay, let's just go for general. Like, what's your favorite animation style you've seen in maybe anything?
You know, it's not always easy to decide, but for a long time, I loved the sort of character designs in Outlaw Star.
That's fair.
Which is, these days, I introduce it to people as the most 90s anime to ever 90s.
It's true. I love that show too, but
yeah, like the way they kind of have like the really spiky hair and the sharp features is just really cool to me.
So, guys, we're going to show fast travel.
I mean, if we're talking superhero shows, that's an easy one, because I immediately go to the Bruce Timm art styles. Fast travel, yeah.
The fact that the costume actually goes with the fast travel, too, is great. Because sometimes it can just look hilarious.
But, yeah, like, specifically, I love the way the art style developed into, like, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
You're not wrong. It's really cool.
Because they continued to refine it. Since it was a more... You could tell that the art was a little more rounded. The characters were a little softer looking in the initial Batman the Animated Series. They started doing Superman. They were a little more angular.
That's fair.
Oh, he got evicted?
Yep.
All his stuff's gone?
Yep.
They know he's Spider-Man because they took all his spider stuff.
Well, actually, no, they somehow don't, and it's kind of weird. This is another mission that's not too bad, but it's a little distracting, in my opinion. But, you know, it's more exploratory stuff. Basically, it's going to show off some chase mechanics.
64476.
Now we gotta track down a truck.
Wait, please. This is important.
Let's see.
Can you at least tell me what the truck is?
Maximus Koala. Welcome to the chat.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Anything, if you wanna if you wanna give any questions, feel free to ask. I'm here.
Nelly said, "Can I have a shout out? I will sub."
Not a problem.
Looking forward to that sub. We're happy to have you.
I'm willing to get a shout out to Maximus Koala. I also answer any weird comic book questions you might have. So
we were just talking up art styles, and I was saying that I love a lot of like '90s anime styles, and I mentioned Outlaw Star was my favorite show for a long time.
Time to make a new costume.
And then, but as far as superhero cartoons go, I will always swear by the Bruce Timm art style from Batman the Animated Series through Justice League.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's a good design. If I'm gonna,
that's right. I was gonna say, like, you really saw the art style evolve between the shows, and I think the Joker really stands out because at first he was kind of like a traditional Joker, and then they did that weird thing where he lost his red lips and he had like black eyes.
Yeah, no, they were trying to simplify his design, and they realized he did too much of a job. They did too much on it.
They knew that. But then by the time they get to like Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, and when they get to like Justice League, they kind of merge the two, where he's got the lips, but he's got the more like kind of angular features too.
No, they hated what they did initially, and they decided to go back once they got to Justice League.
Yeah.
The problem was that they couldn't fix it before like the animation stuff had to be sent over, because character model bullshit aspects.
Oh yeah, like once those character models were sent in, then the artists were starting to draw them.
Holy crap! It's a mindless one.
What?
With a rhino in his chest. Huh?
I see the rhino.
It looks... Oh, sorry. There's just that little light, and I thought it looked like a freaking mindless one from Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I see the rhino. I don't see a mindless one.
I'll show you what they look like, because they actually do look like one.
Let's see. AJ Shim asks, what superhero series would you recommend for anime fans? And, let's see. Oh, also, Maximus Koala says, okay, I didn't think Marvel's Infinity War was horrible. What about you?
I liked it. I thought it was great. But here's the thing. It's not standalone. And if you can... you can't watch it without watching any other MCU film. And that might be a problem for some people. But I ultimately take it like this. It's a chapter in a story, and I judge it by those standards. It was
well, you see, that's actually what I really liked about it, because it showed that they were committed to the world they were creating and the world they had set up, and I love that. And I think that's what a lot of fans are loving right now, is because they come back because they have already seen Doctor Strange, they've seen the other Avengers films, and they're like, I remember that, and I know these characters, and now they're doing these cool things, and they don't waste your time trying to reintroduce them. They're just like, you know... Today on Avengers, Thanos chases the Infinity Gauntlet.
Here's the
Thor
thing.
got his ass kicked.
And here's the thing. It might be a changing of time, but it's probably one of those things of just how storytelling is going to evolve, because guess what? You might just have to start at places where you didn't expect to start, because when I got into comics, I didn't start with Amazing Spider-Man #1 or his first appearance. I had to start with, like, random comics I could find.
We got Ian S.I. Hello, Ian.
Hey. Hi, I'm just answering comic book questions. If you want to ask me anything, I will answer them to the best of my ability.
I was going to say, superhero series for anime fans. Are we talking about actual anime, or are we talking about, like, cartoons or superheroes?
So, the one I would recommend...
Because My Hero Academia is fantastic.
My Hero Academia is great. Tiger and Bunny is also a good one, too. Because it's one of the few shows where I think it actually gets celebrity culture a lot better than other shows. For one thing...
Tiger and Bunny?
Yeah, Tiger and Bunny.
I saw a few episodes of that a while back, but I never really finished it.
Well, it's also by the guy who did Big O, so it's a fun show.
Now I have to finish it.
Yeah, it's actually a lot better than you would think. Though it is a weird one. Here's another good show, too. Big O is also a good superhero-esque show, in my opinion. It's one of the only shows that does, like, Monster of the Week pretty right, in my opinion.
Big O?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Big O has that overarching story still there.
Yeah, it does, but there's also good...
Let's see. Narwhal Storm has much to say. Alright, Dave, a few questions. 1, favorite Spider-Man costume? Ever, like including comics, shows, etc. Number 2, favorite Spider-Man villain and why? Number 3, favorite Spider-Man sidekick? Question mark.
Spider-Man actually, believe it or not, Spider-Man was one of the big points of Spider-Man was that Spider-Man actually killed off the sidekick genre. Believe it or not, for comics. But there's a reason for that. I'll explain that in a sec. Let me answer my first question.
Yeah.
The best Spider-Man costume, my personal favorite. Okay. Classic is ultimately my personal favorite just because I like that suit a lot. It just stood out to me as a kid. That's one of the reasons I gravitated towards it.
Well, you surprised me when you told me that was the original Spider-Man costume. That, like, because like Superman went through a bunch of like junk costumes before he got his iconic one, but apparently Spider-Man was just perfect right away.
Dude, you can look at his first comic and all the elements of his costume are there. Like, there's variation in eyes and everything else. But, no, Spider-Man, this main costume right here is a personal fave of mine.
Yeah, let's switch into it.
Because it's just cool. But ultimately, I think the best costume, and here's the thing, it's such a good alternative costume that when they were getting rid of it, they had to give it to someone else because it's just too good, is the symbiote costume.
You can't get rid of the Spider-Man costume.
Yeah. And some people like Miles better, but I'm like, Miles is just a reverse of this one. And to me, this just looks so cool. I love the colors, the boldness of it. I love so many elements. Plus, Spider-Man's expressive eyes just stick out to me.
Those are always fun.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I love this costume.
That's one of my things about masked superheroes, is if they don't have a way to express themselves like the way Spider-Man uses his eyes, they can be pretty boring to look at.
It's true.
But Spider-Man keeps it so interesting. Nice. Okay. So, a favorite costume, obviously the classic one. Favorite villain, how's that?
Favorite villain's, that's actually a hard one for me, but I'm gonna say it's either Doc Ock or Venom. Doc Ock, is... Alright, Doc Ock has some of the best Spider-Man stories, and for a long time, he might be considered Spider-Man's de facto nemesis. Because people forget the Green Goblin... Oh, actually, scratch that. Hobgoblin.
The Hobgoblin?
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this took me a while to think about it, and so here's the thing. What I like about the Hobgoblin is his whole thing is that he doesn't want to be a supervillain in a traditional way. He's willing to do anything to get away with it. And he doesn't want to be arch enemies with Spider-Man or anything. He just wants to get away and get his plans done. He's business first. And that's kind of what makes him interesting. He'll do anything to fuck over people to just get away with it. And that's kind of fascinating.
Okay, so we found our stuff.
Yeah. And we get more stuff, and we get more,
Hey, look. An old gadget prototype.
new prototype weapons.
Oh, so he just forgot he left this in his folder.
Yes.
I think I can make this
Clearly.
work.
So sidekick is a little crazy. So let me explain the sidekick element to Spider-Man.
Yeah, here we go.
Spider-Man was the first real teenage superhero. A lot of people don't appreciate that nowadays, but you have to understand, back in the day, a lot of superheroes were adults.
Yeah, definitely. You get, like, Superman, Batman, Captain America. They're all like full-grown men, like respectable adults.
And if superheroes were teenagers at all, they were sidekicks, like Robin, Bucky, various others.
Superheroes who know how to adult.
Yeah. Finally, got the web bomb.
Professor Dragonite mentions that Hobgoblin is incredibly successful purely because he owns villain copyrights.
It's true.
He
Hobgoblin
sells his name and technology to others.
Hobgoblin's also, like, his whole thing is that he's trying not to become an insane supervillain, and there's that struggle with him.
Wasn't he voiced by Mark Hamill in the animated series?
Yeah, which is kind of sucks.
Which makes you insane by default.
It's true. But yeah, those are my personal favorites. Hobgoblin is a great villain.
Yeah.
But I hate what adaptions do and try to make him hairy.
Okay.
It's not... Here's the thing.
It's not the same. Well, wait. Didn't you say they never said who he actually was?
Yeah. Initially, there was a mystery behind him. And the whole idea was that he was somebody Peter Parker didn't even know. And it was so unexpected when it was actually revealed. Because it's kind of tying into the original idea of what the Green Goblin was supposed to be. Just a dude.
Just a dude. A dude with a crazy Halloween costume.
He's just a crazy dude. You know, as you do.
Let's see. AJ Shim says, did you two know that South Korea hates the Infinity War movie due to mistranslation? Yes, I've heard that. I've heard some, I've seen some YouTube videos reporting on that. And that's too bad. Because definitely translation and localization... Well, localization is a fine art. Translation is one thing, but when you actually localize it to make sense in the language that people are speaking, if you don't do that well, it can take what's a good production and turn it into kind of an awkward or shitty one.
I wonder what the problem is, because the movie's not that hard to figure out. Like, I really want to know what the translation issues are over there. That sounds fascinating to me, actually. I would love to know.
Yeah, I don't remember the details, but it sounds like they got some things wrong.
Fair enough. But okay. But in all seriousness, if you guys want to start out with, like... But yeah, Spider-Man killed off the superhero sidekick genre. And in doing so, there's also another factor about Spider-Man, is that it's a soap opera about Peter Parker, and he's always been a loner character. Like, a lot of comics are about him struggling alone in the role.
Oh, yeah.
So, while Peter Parker's life was very separate from his Spider-Man life, and when the villains would come in and get the Peter Parker life, it would be like an oh shit moment.
I wish Harry was in town.
It actually made Peter Parker's life matter to a huge extent. And that was a huge focus of Peter Parker as a character, was that Peter Parker was just as important as Spider-Man to a story.
See, I like that, because one of my favorite episodes from Superman, the animated series, was the one where Clark Kent was doing some investigative reporting on a man who had been accused of murder. He was on death row, but he felt something didn't add up, and so he tried to investigate this man's story, and ultimately found out that this guy was framed by a corrupt cop. And there's a great part in that episode where the cop catches on to Clark Kent and plants a bomb in his car, and the car explodes. And so, of course, Clark Kent, being Superman, is fine, but the world thinks that Clark Kent is dead. And so, you know, he manages to like, sort of fake everything and be like, oh yeah, you know, I was badly injured and I woke up in a hospital. But then he finally gets this cop, and the cop ends up on death row, and the innocent man is freed. And the episode ends in a way that I'm like, did they actually show this on Saturday mornings?
Yes.
Because,
I know the episode.
Yeah, the guy is the corrupt cop is sitting there on death row in the gas chamber, and you see everybody push the button.
Yeah.
Or the guy's sitting there muttering to himself, and he's like, there's no way Clark Kent could have figured it out. There's no way he could have survived unless he's Superman. And right as the guy who's like, he's Superman, you see the people push the button. And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, no,
this is why the Superman, or like the DC animated universe, was great, is that they got away with things like that and had deep storylines. But you could really see how Clark Kent was the real person and Superman was kind of the mask that he would put on because he wanted to help people.
Yes, got this power.
And I love that interplay between the secret identity and the superhero.
Anyway, this is the anti-electro suit.
Nice.
This is basically insulated to fight against electricity villains. A neat little thing.
Alright, let's see. Johnny McJim says he likes the Superman episode with Bizarro.
Bizarro is great. He's one of the greatest superhero concepts of all time. Fight
yeah, Bizarro.
I will stand by Bizarro being one of the best superhero concepts.
I just like how in the animated series he had... What?
I'm going to take a picture of that.
Is that J. Jonah Jameson being a crybaby? That's amazing.
I didn't know I could do that.
You got points for that one.
Yeah. That's great.
What I was going to say is, like, there's an episode, like, Bizarro gets an alien lizard creature as a
dog.
pet.
Crypto!
He calls him Crypto, the super dog, but he thinks that this thing's friendly, but it's always trying to just, like, gnaw his arm off, but because he's got superhuman strength, it doesn't hurt him.
I now have Electric Punch.
Oh, nice. You got Lightning Web. That's for if we ever get that Mega Man X Let's Play off the ground.
Don't remind me. Please
Mega Man X4.
Our white whale.
Web Spider. With his spider webs. Let's see.
But, in general, Bizarro is a really great concept who I just kind of love. Always fun. I don't think there's ever been really too many bad Bizarro stories out there. He's just a really fun concept.
Suspicious Pie mentions that Spider-Man can't pay rent, but he can design and build expensive clothing.
Yeah, this game kind of totes the line.
Actually, is there ever an explanation for where he gets his stuff from?
Alright, I'm gonna be honest.
Is he a thief?
In general, back in the day, he didn't have so much tech. He just had the web shooters, the belt, the light, and a couple other things.
Right, so a trip to Joanne Fabrics.
So, and in general, it was just like, oh, I used some of my paycheck to pay for this. I have to move out because my apartment's getting expensive with the Daily Bugle photos. Back when, I don't know, apartments cost like $300 a month. Oh, those were the days.
What planet is he living on? I want to live there.
Oh, hey. Alright, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this.
Time to reignite the flame.
Okay. For some reason, this outfit makes me think of Spawn.
It kinda does look
the
like Spawn.
Superhero from hell.
But until then, we're actually gonna play this stupid thing.
Renault mentions Peter will pay his rent when they fix his damn door.
There we go.
Too late. He's already been evicted.
She wants me there.
There we go.
Felicia. Is Felicia just like a name associated with cats?
I don't know.
Because it's her, it's Black Cat, and then it's also the cat girl from Darkstalkers.
We're actually going to spend some. We're going to do some side quests.
We're going to spend some quality time with Black Cat.
Because
Because I would like to do that.
We're going to get her DLC shit done.
I'm going to web her up so hard.
Anyway, we are actually going to go on an adventure, because this is actually a very simple side quest to do.
Alright, so Narwhal Storm wants to know least favorite Spider-Man costume and villain.
Hey, Yuri.
Oh.
Now we're getting serious.
Alright, least favorite Spider-Man costume? Okay, that's... Spider-Man is one of the few characters who I think has a lot of good variants, but if the...
Let me know if we're geared
Yeah,
for this.
I feel like there's a few elements you have to hit. I think you need the eyes, and you need kind of the spider emblem across the chest, but other than that, I feel like it's pretty flexible what could make a good costume.
Genuinely, but I think the worst costume... Okay, actually, I have it. The Amazing Spider-Man #1 costume from the movie.
Okay.
The webbing wasn't very detailed. He had orange eyes for some reason.
Wait, he had orange eyes?
Yes, he had orange eyes. People forget... Look up the Amazing Spider-Man 1 costume. In 2, they actually give him a really friggin' decent costume.
No way.
But
No way.
look at the first one, and it just is so scattered, scattered detail. Like, it just doesn't come together well.
We lost funding at the lab.
Alright. I'm looking it up now.
I'm sorry.
I also kind of got evicted from my apartment.
What?
Is he gonna move back in with Aunt May?
No, he's gonna rent a place at the friggin'
the homeless shelter
yeah.
she works at?
Yeah, he's gonna stay there the night.
Feel free to use the couch in my office.
Thanks, May.
I was gonna say, I can relate to that. Definitely had to rely on friends and family in tough times myself.
But yeah.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, he did have orange eyes. You know, I thought that was just the lighting, but I guess that's how it was?
Yeah, man, that's how the costume was. It was not a good costume, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think I think that's actually probably... Here's the thing, it's trying to do so much, but it's like, just do the regular costume. But, you know, it's not a good costume, in my opinion. That's what it boils down to.
Okay, so what about your least favorite villain?
Least favorite villain? Alright, I'm gonna try and choose a non-sucky villain, if that makes sense.
See, I don't know enough about Spider-Man to really, like, pick and choose, because for me, Dr. Octopus is my favorite villain, because I thought he was very well characterized in Spider-Man 2.
Alright, the worst villain in my opinion, for Spider-Man ever had is... Frack. I'm actually... Because there's been some very mediocre villains in Spider-Man's history.
Well, I mean, when you're a character that's as popular as that and has been around as long as that, you're definitely gonna get some random duds.
You do get some random duds. Like, there's this one character called the Hypno Hustler, who's...
The Hypno Hustler?
Who is...
I saw this. That was a villain in the recent episode of Mega Man Fully Charged. It was terrible. Don't watch that show. It's terrible.
In all seriousness, he was created in the 70s, and he was part of the disco craze. And he's kind of just fun. He only ever showed up in one comic and became a meme among the Spider-Man fans. As kind of like a joke character. And I kind of love him. But the one that sucks the most, because there's been a lot of good... Because there's been ones that suck that have had good stories, but... Oh, Screwball. I fucking hate Screwball, and she's actually in this game. And I'll tell you why. Screwball is a character who's based on trends that really shouldn't be a threat to Spider-Man. She wants to be a YouTuber by doing parkour, and fight Spider-Man with parkour. There's only one problem.
Spider-Man is a master of parkour.
His power is basically super parkour. He has natural abilities that are just better than her.
Spider-like skills.
Like,
hey, when's Stan Lee gonna come back in this game, by the way?
He hasn't shown up in the playthrough I've been doing, but maybe he shows up again later.
Oh, so you can't just, like, go back to that diner and visit him?
Maybe I can, maybe if I find it.
I want to visit Stan Lee.
There we go. I'm just gonna switch out my powers.
You switch out your nuclear powers? What was that?
He literally...
He got Falcon punched.
He has anime sword powers, okay?
Animation, aye.
Oh, I actually took them out in one go.
Alright, let's see.
Oh, wait, no. Hold it.
Oh boy. Rockets! They got rockets!
Professor Dragonite says, Dave, what about Alice Rabbit?
I feel like there are better ways to
Are you talking about White Rabbit?
shooting rockets at dudes in Spanish.
White Rabbit's not bad. She's just kind of comedic.
What?
Alright, look, she's an Alice in Wonderland-based supervillain, which, let's be honest,
I mean,
is a gimmick for a lot of villains.
I never would have guessed.
I know, right?
She's as mad as a hatter.
I know. But she's not that bad, she's just kind of a joke character. And to tell you the truth, like, she can easily be turned into, like, a Harley Quinn for Marvel Universe if somebody was just like, oh. Anyway, we're gonna do this because I like this side quest.
Okay, so we gotta find more, black cat
There's only 12.
markings.
There's only 12 of them.
But you should know, bad boys aren't my type.
There we go.
A little bit up to the left. There it is.
There we go.
Meow. Why are you doing this, Felicia? No one's gonna catch you.
So wait, does she have like a updated suit for this game, or is it like kind of classic?
Well, we're not going to see her because she's getting her own DLC suit. This is just heads up. But we're doing this...
Oh, she gets her own Catwoman DLC?
Yeah, basically. But at least it isn't day one shit, you know? But we are going to try and do this, so we're just going to do some exploration. And we're going to do this the best way possible. By Spider-Manning! Whee! But there's only 12 of them, and I don't really mind doing this.
Yes, by Spider-Manning.
Especially because I know the way of doing this pretty easily.
Oh, you know the way?
I know the way. I know the spider way. But
the way of the spider.
But it also lets me do some crime. Please, it's time to solve crime!
Gentlemen, that is not how an ATM
I don't know why I just thought of the, like the Justice Friends bit where it's like, I, the evil mathematician, will force children to do homework forever. And then, like, Major Glory shows up and stuffs Justice Fruit Pie in his mouth.
Oh, Justice Fruit Pies! The delicious snack that's too hard to resist. Oh, I give up. Oh, Genndy Tartakovsky and your obscure 70s Marvel references. That guy...
Major Glory, Val Hallen, and the Infraggable Crunk.
Let me put it this way. Genndy Tartakovsky loves old Marvel comics because, my god, I never seen one man reference them so incessantly.
I hate that I was like... I was one of those teenagers who's like all uptight and be like, oh, if it's not like all radical and cool and anime, I don't care. Because, like, now that I'm older, I actually appreciate some of that stuff way more than I did when I was younger.
Those men could have died.
I solved crime. Anyway.
I just want like Spider-Man walking away from just the entire city on fire and people screaming, but like webs all over the place too, and they're on fire, and he's just like, I solved crime, and he just leaves. Let's see. AJ Sim says, Arnold Schwarzenegger for next Spider-Man movie. Not as Spider-Man, but supporting actor.
Actually, he almost was in a Spider-Man film. He was James Cameron... I explained this last time, but he was James Cameron's pick to play Doc Ock. Which will bug me forever, if I'm being honest. Because that's...
Spider-Man!
I think he might have done...
What's something Dr. Octopus would say?
Spider-Man, look at the nuclear missiles!
I programmed the nuclear missiles with octopus tentacles.
Meow.
Narwhal Star says, Hal, now you don't care unless it's dark and gritty and adult.
Try and get ahead of her.
That's how I was. I loosened up a lot in the intervening years.
Yeah, how?
Because there was definitely a time where like any show on, it was like in the early mid 2000s, where like any show on Cartoon Network that was not like Toonami or Adult Swim was just filler until like the next episode of Dragon Ball Z or Gundam came on. Alright, AJ Shim, comic question. Why are not many Korean superheroes compared to Japanese?
Oh. Weird, but yeah, no.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
There's not a lot of Korean superheroes compared to Japanese ones, and probably because exposure to the actual culture is very minimal in America. Because here's one of the big problems. Japanese culture has been inundated for a long time in various different forms.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say we have, especially these days, we can really thank anime for bringing that over, and because of that, we're exposed to so much of Japanese culture, and because there's not, like, a cultural export that can quite match that.
And in general...
Am I on the right page?
And I talked to Shim about this before, I actually did. There's also a big issue with, like, a lot of Korean stuff being kind of rip-offy of Japanese, and and there's some actually really good original Korean production. But to be fair,
I don't know if rip-off is the right word. But I've read, like...
Have you ever seen Transors or... no, it's like
no,
Karate... not Transors
Z was, like, the bad
no,
American
I'm thinking,
version of Mazinger.
No, there's something else. There's, like... There's a Korean ripoff of Mazinger Z. I'm trying to remember its freaking name.
Okay, so like an act. Because I was gonna say that I've read some mana that were I thought were really cool and I thought had really fantastic artwork.
No, there's a lot of good mana, but the problem. But I'll say this.
So I was like, it's like I don't care that it's not Japanese. I think that the artists are still very talented, and I enjoy that they use those styles.
But but here's one thing I'm not down on Korean about, for one thing. They're webcomics.
Taekwon V?
Taekwon V, yep, that's the one.
Yeah, Johnny McJim said Taekwon V.
Yep, that's the one.
Thank you, Johnny.
But, okay, I'm going to tell you what the deal is. Their webcomic market is a lot better than America or Japan at this point. Like, seriously... I'm impressed by how they managed to create a really good infrastructure. Some American creators are even doing stuff for them.
All right, note to self. Look into Korean comic market.
I actually have one called The Red Hook that's entirely published on a Korean webcomic site.
Okay, then.
Yeah, like, seriously. I have the collection at home. Believe it or not, there actually is... They actually are pretty doing in the web development business, and I wish more people were talking about it.
I have heard it that South Korea is supposed to be the most wired nation in the world.
Yeah,
as far as like internet connections go.
There we go.
I might even let you catch me.
And that's part of like their culture. They spend a lot of time online. They do a lot of esports stuff. I mean that's why I find it interesting that like. Because Blizzard Entertainment is based in America, but StarCraft is like, I like to joke that it's the national sport of South Korea.
I think everybody
Although by now, I guess it's Overwatch.
Da da da. Do 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 do. I'm gonna solve crime with my camera. Do do do.
You sound like that Willy Wonka song now.
Welcome
to a world.
That was intentional.
Pure inebriation.
That was actually intentional.
Oh man.
To be fair, that one's actually pretty good. But in all seriousness,
there's a Family Guy. Yeah.
There's actually because let me put it this way. I wish that a lot of other foreign comics besides Japanese actually got a lot more play. The European comic market is impressive and important, and yet we don't have a lot of the stuff over here translated in good formats. Some of the Duck comics they have over there are fantastic. Valerian and Laureline are important comics for the entire sci-fi genre.
I shouted out to him on a different stream, but the Chris who does comic tropes did something on that very comic.
Yeah, no,
and I've learned a lot of things from just watching his shows, and I think he does a great job. And
yeah, no, in all seriousness, Valerian and Laureline are one of those comics that, despite the movie existing, it did help get a lot of the collections out into the American public.
So the movie's not really considered very good compared to the comics, is that right?
The comics are one of the main inspirations for Star Wars.
There you go.
Like, to give you an idea, it's been accused that George Lucas or one of his concept artists stole ideas from Valerian and Laureline to make Star Wars. And I'm not going to get into that debate now because I need to do...
That's the 70s, man. Don't go dredging that up, man.
It's not even the fact that I don't want to dredge it up. It's just that I don't want to, go on to that without, like, looking at good examples. But the European comic market needs a lot more exposure, because there are some fantastic European comics that can stand up to manga. Hell, Last Man, a French comic book.
Oh yeah,
is really freaking good.
They have an animated series that I saw advertisements for.
It's really good. Watch it. Last Man is awesome.
Except it's on Verve, which is like associated with Crunchyroll, which stole our money to fund their own project.
Let's not talk about that. Look,
end thought.
I have a lot of issues with that, if I'm being honest. Freaking Crunchyroll.
You know, Crunchyroll used to guilt trip me into being like, oh, I should try to support the anime industry. Now I feel good about pirating things.
Well, Crunchyroll used a lot of its, like, here's the thing. Crunchyroll was kind of outright lying to how much they were supporting, or at least if they weren't lying, they were they weren't very truthful about how much they actually do to support the industry.
Yeah.
Which is a big problem of the whole thing. Which, I feel sad now. But until then, more...
We made Dave sad. This is not good.
I know. Well, let me talk about happy things.
As an organic life form, I'm told that his mood is very important to his well-being. We must improve his mood.
But as
a malevolent AI, I am always happy when I am causing havoc.
But I'm going to tell you this as a guy, I don't make much of a distinction between manga and comics, I only make a distinction when I'm talking about styles, because comics are just comics, and to tell you the truth, I'm just a fan of the medium itself.
I like that. That's what I like about you.
I'm a fan of comic books, not just superheroes, not just manga, comics. Yeah. To me, they're all...
I've gotten, like, exponentially more into the whole thing ever since I met you, so...
Oh, yeah, dude.
And this game has just, your infectious love of Spider-Man has spread everywhere. Like some horrible terminal disease.
Dude.
I cannot resist Spider-Man now.
Dude, here's the thing. It's always been said, I will always make people know way too much about things I like, and after a certain point, you just gotta have to accept that they're just gonna be big nerds who just like Spider-Man from now on. Or something. I don't know. Where did that guy go?
It does not hurt that it is an awesome video game, because I think if there's any medium that has touched me more than any other, it's definitely video games.
Oh, yeah. But like I said, But yeah, I view myself as a comics fan first, not necessarily, I don't like making too much of a distinction between manga and comics, unless I'm talking about style or cultural stuff. And I do that mostly because I kind of want to make the point to people that they're comics. And don't... Yeah, what? Oh yeah, I'll take another drink. Dave is thirsty from talking.
He has been speaking this whole time.
Yeah, but...
Listen, some of that?
Yeah, but we're gonna do a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
A little bit of everything.
I know, right?
But on Hal Dave's trip to Jupiter.
But, like, webcomics are comics... And
yes, Spider-Man is connected to the World Wide Web.
But I will say this. I do try to judge by how they're released and formatted to be fair on their storytelling differences. That's the only reason I'll be fair to one thing versus the other. A monthly comic book will be judged differently than a monthly manga, for example. Mostly because they don't have to put it in color.
That's true. But then again, it kind of depends, because... while putting in color definitely takes some time, coloring probably has gotten significantly easier over time with technology. Because like just the other night, I was showing someone the nuances of some different art programs and how easy it actually is to simply flood fill and colorize a lot of things.
Not if you want it to look good, which is a lot of cases.
Well, of course, there is definitely a big difference between how easy it can be and how good it can be. So we're looking for like cute little kitty radioactive plushies?
Yes. But we're gonna do this because this is one of my favorite secrets of the game. Okay. I gotta fix the tower first though. Because towers!
All of the towers. Climb the towers to find the map of Hyrule, young Parker.
Officers, pull your wounded back. I'll handle this.
Just gonna take this guy down. Oh, what the hell?
What was that?
A truck literally crashed into me.
It moved like 2 feet, it looked like.
There we go.
Alright, let's see. AJ Shim says, comment question. Why can't we have another big company crossover like DC versus Marvel or Valiant versus Image?
There have been some, actually. Believe it or not. But the big problem is Marvel. Marvel is a problem, though. Mostly because Joe Quesada, who is an interesting man I've discovered in recent weeks.
One more day.
Yeah, one more besides that. The guy actually made it a policy during his reign at Marvel not to do
reign of terror,
not to do crossovers with DC during that period.
Okay.
Because they were competition, and he wanted Marvel to stand out. And to tell you the truth, it made the characters so... Alright, I'm gonna say this. He made Marvel feel like a clique in general. And a lot of people are talking about...
You just perfectly described the way things feel right now.
Yeah, no. If you want to blame anybody for it, Joe Quesada might be patient zero of the entire...
Patient zero. He is where the disease began.
Dude, like a lot of his...
spread like wildfire.
Dude, a lot
from
of...
creator to creator until it consumed companies.
Dude, a lot of Marvel's problems as a comic book company can be traced back to Joe Quesada and his reign there as an editor. While he did a lot of good stuff for Marvel, let me put it this way. I'm a Spider-Man fan, though, so I have one more day because of him. So, it's very hard for me to be... Oh, hold it.
It's hard to forgive the person who came up with, like, the worst storyline that you've ever seen for you. Avengers! So, is that the Avengers logo that's used for, like, every Avengers thing?
Basically, at this point.
That's awesome. I love how, just, like, from the very beginning even, like, when they started doing Iron Man, it just felt like they were being authentic to the comics. Like, they weren't... Because so many other earlier comic book films, besides, like, Spider-Man, felt like they were kind of ashamed. And even now, like, they feel like they're kind of ashamed to be, like, these comic book characters. Like, that's the problem with the DC universe, is they feel ashamed of their heritage. And they feel the need to change it.
There's a really good article by a guy called Chris Sims who calls it The Problem. If you can look it up, it used to be on a site called Comics Alliance. And if anybody is interested in DC Comics history and stuff, look up The Problem by Chris Sims. It's a really great article that actually does a lot of good detail into it about DC's issues with being a superhero company. And it's... Alrighty,
well, you know, like, to steer it away from, like, the comics even, I remember the recent Power Rangers movie just felt like it was kind of ashamed of its Super Sentai roots and tried to do things so differently.
Dude, that Megazord was so awful.
It was terrible.
And I think it's one that...
They had to throw it into a pit underground to make it combine because there was no, like, logical way to actually show it combining on screen.
Dude.
Just keep him busy. But I'm catching up.
It really ticks me off that that design was even like, oh, it's gonna be so amazing. There we go. Cornelius Van Lutz. He's an Avengers villain.
Okay.
Must be working for someone.
Wait, there was like artwork.
Oh yeah, no, Black Cat. No, one of the reasons you can find Black Cat is that there will be like little art pieces. I'm gonna say this: the art here is better than her CG model so far.
What?
I really like it.
Her art is... That doesn't sound right.
I don't know. It's
they need to have like a really cute, sexy Black Cat for this game.
There's been some controversy over how cute and sexy she is. On some level, I'm like, she does the job fine.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like, she's Black Cat. There's no reason why she shouldn't be just, you know, adorable and awesome.
Genuinely, I agree on that bit. But again, I'm not getting into that controversy because I find it kind of dumb.
Like for this game or for what?
Just generally, I'm just like...
it's right, I gotcha.
Yeah, I'd rather just be like...
AJ Shim says Joe Quesada is now on his list.
Genuinely, Joe Quesada is a good example of why Marvel feels the way it does now. And I'm not...
So whose decision was it to make Iceman gay?
Brian Michael Bendis, so he could actually have...
Right, the guy who's now writing Superman, because he's perfectly qualified.
Genuinely, I would have said he might have actually been perfectly qualified, but
that
Bendis...
was a great takedown, by the way.
Thank you. But Bendis has a big problem as a creator, is that he wants his stories to matter.
You know, okay, so that is a terrible thing when you are a writer for a character who's been established for like 70 years.
Dude, here's the thing. I feel like the best thing you can do if you're a comic book writer is to not make your stories matter, but to just make good stories.
I agree. I was going to say that because when people are like, oh, I want my story to matter, that immediately leads them down the dark path of being like, I need to do some drastic change to this wonderful character that's been established so that they're no longer the wonderful character that everyone
Well,
recognizes.
to give you an example, they recently decided to do a Tony Stark storyline where it's revealed that he was adopted! And it really doesn't do anything for him.
That doesn't make any sense. Because they've already established how much he's taken or gained from being the son of Howard Stark.
Yeah, and this is kind of the problem with some writers, is that they really feel like they have to...
It's kind of like if my parents were just like to suddenly be like, oh, you're adopted. I'd be like, yeah, shut up, you're lying. Because I can already see, you know, my father in me. I can see my mother in me.
It doesn't help that the comics
That's basically what it would be.
It doesn't help that the comics have always drawn Howard Stark to look like Tony anyway.
Yeah.
So it just comes off as forced.
It's super forced. It's ridiculous. No, but I mean, that speaks to kind of like a broader issue that I find with characters that have just been around this long, is that there's been so many good stories that have already been told that I think a lot of writers struggle to come up with a new story that isn't like just bullshit like that, where they're like, oh, I'm just gonna flip over some key element of the character to make the story stand out. You know, rather than coming up with a story that organically fits with the character, they just try something stupid like that.
Oh,
that's what I feel negatively about.
Oh, dude, I agree. Look, I'm a Spider-Man fan, and ultimately my whole thing is that I rather like the stories look, I only care about good stories and not like stories where
what?
What?
I'm reading the chat, and I'm like, Professor Dragonite says, hey Dave, how about the time that Stark had sentient cancer? Or if he became a sexy woman?
That was
Is this a thing, Dave?
That was the Ultimate Universe, and I should mention the time he became a sexy woman was also written by Bendis. So the more you just bring up Bendis, the more pain you're gonna feel.
Right. So Dave, you tell me that this Bendis lives on planet Earth, correct?
So the best way to describe...
So the planet Earth must be destroyed in order to ensure that Bendis cannot spread across the universe.
Hold it. No. We have to only save a couple Bendis comics.
Commence Order 66.
That's Daredevil, his Alias run, and his Ultimate Spider-Man run. If we save those comics, it's fine. Those are the only good things he's ever written. Well, okay, he's written some other fine things. I'm just not remembering right now.
Targeted by a rocket launcher?
Yeah, I found crime.
He found crime. Or you might say that crime found him.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna take this guy down.
Oh, that was a sweet takedown.
Yep.
You flip kick him into the air and then spiderweb him back down.
Alright.
He's dead, Dave. You killed him with your webs. In your anger, you killed him.
No, I killed this dude.
Yeah? Yeah, he definitely died.
Go to the air.
Air combo finish.
There we go.
There are better ways to spend your life than shooting rockets at dudes in spandex.
Yes, there are better things to do with your life. Whee!
So, what's interesting to me that I've learned over this evening is that so many of, like, the weirdest twists in comics recently have been on the hands of, like, one or two people.
Dude, there's a lot of, like, bad comics you can actually blame on a couple things, or at least bad precedents. Bendis set up a lot of bad precedents for Marvel in a lot of ways he did things. Now, initially, he did it fine. He was able to write good comics, but a lot of his comics just became bad over time. And, you know, I'm trying not to be a jerk about it, but they did. And so
that's too bad, because I don't know, like, I want to believe that these people had some talent or good intentions at some point.
Oh, dude, Bendis was considered like one of the hot writers of his era, and I'm not kidding.
When was that? 2002?
Yes. 2000 through 2010, he was considered a really talented writer, but he's had a lot of problems as a creator. To give you an example, if we want to be honest, ask a old-school Guardians of the Galaxy fan, not ones who came in from the movie, but before then, and they'll talk about Bendis like he created cancer.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah, in all seriousness, his Guardians of the Galaxy run is considered kind of awful, and I agree on that one. And I used to and I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy, but his run, oof, God. If there's one run that you can do without in comics, his run on Guardians is kind of
So the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, how close are they to like comic book stories? Are they kind of like their own thing?
A bit of column A, a bit of column B. Here's the thing: they're enough of their own thing that they have their own unique identity. Okay, but they do draw on so much stupid comic book shit that I'm like, why? Like.
What about that bit with Star-Lord and Ego the Living Planet?
That's not from the comics.
That is a movie thing.
That's a movie thing. But that's the only one examples. Like, Sylvester Stallone played such an obscure character who I was like, somewhere out there, somebody put Starhawk will be played by Sylvester Stallone as a joke. And then it happened.
Wow, that's great.
Like... somebody out there probably did, because...
So, little Hal was, like, mildly traumatized by Ego the Living Planet, because I remember seeing the Fantastic Four episode where, like, the Fantastic Four and Thor fight against Ego, and I just thought he was weird and scary.
Ego is very kind of freaky, because he's an entire planet who can fuck you over.
Well, yeah, because, like, I was always kind of, like, fascinated / scared by all this crazy, like, outer space stuff when I was little.
Location is Monk Park, over.
Ah. I'm solving things. Did I actually just finish all the towers? No, I haven't, but finished all the important ones yet. Let's see, did I do all the towers yet? Maybe.
Apparently we read the chat's mind and started asking the right questions.
Fair enough. But Guardians of the Galaxy is...
yeah. I have a weird memory of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not necessarily about the movie itself, but just like you know, again, Hal's ex-girlfriend. We saw the movie and we were at like a Ruby Tuesday or something afterwards, and I don't remember why, but I totally like made her cry for like reasons unbeknownst to anyone. It's just one of those like weird things where it's like you don't even know what you did and stuff happened.
They got the job done.
That's my memory of Guardians of the Galaxy. And then trying to track down a dancing baby Groot.
Oh, God.
So when's Groot gonna grow up again?
Probably the next movie or so, but we'll see what happens with the whole James Gunn controversy.
Oh, God, that happened. See, this is like...
peanut butter and chocolate.
This is what...
that was so dumb.
What fascinates me is that the way people go to like Twitter and just like post the most random thoughts that they should not be posting. Because, you know, I have never had a Twitter account until I set up one for our show, for Hal and Dave.
Well,
and we just... all it is just so we can talk about our show and make announcements regarding that.
It sounds...
the fact that people, like, just wake up, like, even our president of the United States wakes up at, like, 6 in the morning and tweets out random shit on his mind, and it's like, this shouldn't be.
Dude, if I'm being honest, during the day, I used to be afraid that, that one day an employer will be able to hack into my Facebook and use that against me. believe it or not, just as a general rule. So I'm always very...
Yeah, that's why I don't even post anything to Facebook.
If I'm being honest, the thing is, like, it's a little bit... I will admit now I'm finding that a little dumb, but, you know, this is when I was in high school. It was just a thought, you know? But my whole thing is that social media really is a judgment call, and I really feel like at this point, you shouldn't shit it up because people can call you out for it.
Well, it reminds me, there was like a statistic I found somewhere that was like, people, there's certain things that like people would never say to a person face to face, but then they'll say it online. Like they're like 60 or 70% more likely to say something online that they would never say face to face, and it's like usually something that's kind of you know, rude or lewd or obscene or something. And you know, I think probably most of us who've ever used the internet have been there, where you know you're just kind of, you're talking to someone, but they're essentially just a text box to you, and so your mind goes to places that you don't ordinarily go to when you're sitting face to face with a person and having a civil conversation. And so I can see how that happens and creates the environment that we now have online, on Twitter, on different social media. Is that they're not talking to people, they're talking to like insane text blocks.
It's true. But no, my whole thing is that
the art of the debate has been lost.
Yeah, very much. Mostly because we only have to have 120 characters.
If you have anything more to say than that, then you're done.
Yeah.
Is he hacking into all our conversations?
Speaking of which, Jameson's now ranting about Spider-Man hacking into everybody's information. You see, the reason you don't post on social media, Spider-Man will hack into it.
Spider-Man has your Facebook information.
Yeah. In general, I'm just very careful with what I post on Facebook and anywhere else.
Gotta narrow it down.
Alright, AJ Sim says, common question. What is the chemical that is like kryptonite for Superman?
Krypton?
Krypton,
like the chemical that's...
The element krypton?
The chemical that is like kryptonite to Superman, I think he says?
Yeah. Is there like a periodic table item that is kryptonite-ish?
There have been like attempts to make a liquid kryptonite before, but I never really think of like... Crime! Sorry. Okay, I only need one more.
I think it's some combination of doing a live stream that is as long as this, and also the fact that it's like Spider-Man and stuff, and maybe some of the people in the chat pointing us in the right direction. We totally talk about like stuff that we don't normally talk about in our Let's Plays.
Well, in general, I think we're not really talking about anything too out there. But my whole...
I think we're quite civil about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Anyway.
We're quite civil, just like a back kick to this guy's face.
Oh, I hate you. Just
Demon Tech. I mean, well, there's definitely a lot of like gray area that occurs in like Spider-Man and some superhero stuff. There is something kind of cathartic about the black and white between you're the good guy, they're the bad guys. Go get him.
Go get him, Tiger.
And you feel totally justified in that.
Let's see. Where is the Black Cat Steakhouse? We are heading there.
What?
We're almost done with it. We just need to do this last one, and then we're done. Well, we have to do one more search, but besides that, we are almost done with this. Whole side mission.
I once had a discussion with one of my professors about the whole, like, kind of like save the princess kind of thing that one does in games. And he was mentioning how it's kind of like a morality play, like you're teaching ideals to young people.
Well, here's the thing.
Like to young men to be chivalrous or to be heroic, to help people, help those in need, and you know, take care of people. And so I think that there's it's still relevant to this day.
I can see that to a huge extent, but I actually will say this. One of the important things to think about when you're actually playing games and making games is that when you're playing a character, it's ultimately about what they care about and what you can do. Because let me put it this way: one of the reasons why I think they made Mary Jane the way she is in this game is to not make her a generic love interest.
I agree, and you know, to be honest, at least what I've seen so far, actually like hits really close to home for me, and I kind of see the. He's dead. He's dead, Dave. You killed him. But the whole like they thought they were gonna proceed with their relationship, but then they ended up breaking up because of reasons that you know, he has his own way of doing things, and it didn't work for her. And I can really relate to that. That's essentially kind of how it happened for me. And so I think that's kind of even better here because, again, Spider-Man is the relatable character. He's not some invincible god from on high, and he's not some billionaire recluse.
Well, I'll tell you
He's
this.
your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
My only issue with the whole like relationship with Mary Jane in this form is that I wish they didn't make her a reporter. Mostly because I hate it when they make love interests just reporters. Because they did this in Iron Man Armored Adventures 2 with Pepper Potts. Like, I'm just sick of it. Stop making love interest reporters, for God's sake. Not every
okay, so is it just because it's like a generic choice, or is it some other reason?
My opinion is that I feel like I feel like it's just an attempt to make them relevant in some way that will keep them part of it. But one of the things about...
I get it, because superheroes often become reporters or something, or police officers, something like that, so they can immediately get close to the action, because a lot of superheroes are solving like street-level crimes when they're not fighting supervillains.
But I really wish that instead of doing it like the way they did in this game, I really wish that they did it like where they portrayed Mary Jane as making the costumes. Because, believe it or not, there's actually a comic where she wanted to make costumes for Peter. Because she thought she could do it. So I think that would have been a much more interesting take as somebody who's helpful. Like, help you make your power-ups and shit. You know?
Well, in this case, they needed to have... Since they obviously want to have this setup where they've they're on the rocks. So, I think that... I'm going to kind of defend it because I think that it works in the sense that she's still sort of in the fray.
I guess I can understand it from a gameplay perspective, but it's also like one of those things of just like, I understand it.
Like what profession could she be doing that would keep her in the fray so that she could still essentially be doing the same things here?
You're not wrong about that. My whole thing ultimately is that I personally would have just preferred it if they avoided that trope, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've read more comics than most people, than most living humans.
In fact, have.
You've taken more comics. The comics you have read would probably kill a normal human.
The comics I've read...
The amount of comics... It's like the amount of comic book radiation that you have absorbed would kill most human beings. A suspicious spy says that she could have been a first responder.
You know what? I actually would have liked that. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, that kind of works. Well, it kind of depends on her depiction, because she seems like a very... she still seems like they're trying to keep her like the cute kind of, I don't know, not quite girl next door thing. And, like, when I picture a first responder, I definitely think of someone who's a little more, like, physically built and powerful.
It's still an interesting idea at the very least.
Yeah. I guess it works. I'll go with it.
In all seriousness, it's mostly like I'm just tired of seeing all the love interests just be a variant of Lois Lane or April O'Neil.
Is April O'Neil really a love interest?
Not really, but she is like the reporter who gets in trouble.
Absolutely. I have spent many hours, both as a child and sometimes as an adult, attempting to rescue April O'Neil from the clutches of the Shredder in various Ninja Turtles video games.
Ooh. Don't worry, I got it. But that's what it really just boils down to.
Professor Dragonite is concerned that you are now radioactive from the amount of comic book radiation you have absorbed.
I probably am. I probably am, like, radioactive on some level. I radiate green ink when I go to sleep at night.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It gets everywhere. It is a nightmare to clean up.
To be fair, I also read the comic book where Kiss put their own blood in it.
Are you serious?
I'm not even joking.
Man. I don't know if it's dedication or just gross.
To be fair, that's not the gross. No, that might. On this one, I don't think it's that gross. I think it's more of a tribute. So there was this Marvel editor named Mark Grunwald who was one of the best editors at Marvel ever had through the 80s. It's been said that Rob Liefeld made a comic about Captain America that was so bad it killed him. But that's kind of a sad joke, but it might be true.
Is it true?
It might be. That's the sad part.
This was a published comic about Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yeah, well, you know that comic. You know that comic where Captain America like has the boobs. That image. That's the
Rob
series
Liefeld picture,
yeah,
where he's like stupidly muscular.
But let me talk about Mark Grunwald and how cool he is. Mark Grunwald was an editor at Marvel who actually wanted writers to take advantage of the Marvel Universe. He was very good with continuity, like really good with it.
Yeah.
And he wanted that, like he was their continuity editor. And he would tell them to do stuff. Like, one of the things he told writers to do is not to invent so many alien races. Because there were 500 of them in the Marvel Universe alone.
Like good advice.
And he was just like, if you're going to use aliens, just use one of the ones we already have. Like, you don't... And in all seriousness, like, I know some people are like, oh, continuity... What about my creativity as a writer? But I'm like, well, so many writers have worked for Marvel, you don't really have to be creative. Just use something that's already been established. You know?
I mean, that's creativity unto itself, I would say.
Oh, yeah, I would say it is. And I'd say, like, you know, it's one of those things. Anyway, let me tell you why I brought him up with the Kiss Blood thing. Okay. When he died... They decided to he wanted to be cremated, and the way they did it was that he wanted to be cremated in a certain way. So his
ashes into a comic book page.
Yes, actually. They put his ashes into the ink of his most famous work, and printed it as a graphic novel.
Oh my god, I was right.
Yes, you were! That's why I brought it up! To be fair, if it was going to be one comic, it had to be... Well, it's a comic called Squadron Supreme, and if you never heard, you might have heard of it if you seen some of the recent Marvel cartoons. They actually showed up, and Squadron Supreme is a very simple idea. What the Justice League tried to take over the world.
So you mean the Justice Lords?
Yes, the Justice Lords were very much inspired by Squadron Supreme. In fact, a lot of things. In fact, it's considered an earlier deconstruction of superheroes before Watchmen.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
wow. Yeah. Yeah, I know, it's kind of insane. But you have like Hyperion, who is basically Superman, try to use his powers to take over the world. They use mind control, and it's this really great, intelligent story. Like, there are issues with it because they didn't know how to write for limited series yet, so there's a lot of exposition in it. Yeah. But it's really good. And the story it actually does tell a very complete story that I like a lot. And Squadron Supreme is an interesting world. But the idea is that after a supervillain attacks, the world is in such bad shape, the Justice League decide to take it over to try and fix it, and how that goes wrong. And Batman, Nighthawk's story, has to take him down and show them what they did.
Batman always has to take down Superman.
Yeah, and that's where it started.
That's how it is.
And that's where it started.
This is before The Dark Knight Returns.
Yes, actually. It's been said that this probably influenced later depictions of them. Even though it's not actually Batman and Superman.
If you told 12-year-old me one day dudes in masks would try to fill them up with rockets.
Comics have a weird history of kind of weirdly...
I noticed.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's my thing, like, having been a much bigger, like, anime and manga fan than comic books.
Yeah.
Is that I noticed that anime and manga end. They don't go on forever. You know, I thought Dragon Ball Z was long as hell, and then I learned of other things like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure that went on for ages. But every time they managed to like turn over the characters or turn over the continuity so that it's still something new, and rather than rehashing older stories, they go forwards with new ideas. And I think that's kind of like the weird paradox of comic book heroes, is after so many years we still have Peter Parker as Spider-Man.
But no sign of financial data on the Maggia crime families.
That's an actual crime family in the comics.
What's that?
The Maggia crime family.
Maggia.
This is going to be a lot of like references to comics people don't know about.
The Bobby let's see. AJ Shim says, comic question.
What's this?
Let's see. Has Spider-Man ever had alien side characters that are not villains?
Yes. Oh, hey, it's the Kingpin's wife. Sorry.
Fisk reported this stolen.
There actually was a character called the Crusader who was a Skrull who wanted to be a superhero. He was
the Kingpin's wife?
Yeah, the Kingpin's wife who was in a coma.
Why?
Well, you
Does
see...
he need to solve the cryogenic problem?
Well, you see, when you're the Kingpin, people want to fuck you over.
Well, of course.
Wow. First time I caught Felicia, she was trying to steal this. Looks like she finally went back to finish the job.
God.
See, I was kind of like sitting here sort of forgetting what we were doing, but...
Oh, yeah, no, to be fair, we got into... It was very boring. Yeah, right now we are looking at, like, Felicia's stuff. We are investigating.
I want to look at Felicia's stuff.
Look. Cat's dancing with the little spider.
Aw, that's...
Also imprisoning him in a jar against his will. Cute. Very cute.
Aw, she loves me, but not as Peter Parker, only as Spider-Man.
Does she not care for Peter Parker?
Oh, dude, when she pulled off his mask, she was like, keep it on! Keep it on! She never liked the idea of Peter Parker being a regular dude. So that's one of the...
So she likes to think of Spider-Man as being this great, awesome hero.
In fact, like, she often encourages him to ditch his life as Peter.
Spider, you raced here to redeem me, didn't you? You're adorable. And cute, too. Which is why I made you something more flattering.
This is why I wanted to do this.
The black cat spiders. The dark suit. Now we can survive on the surface of dark ether.
It's true.
Spider-Man, the Black Cat just robbed the police department's evidence lockup.
What? How? That place is like Fort Knox.
All those cats you found? When they were all together in the evidence room, they linked up, boosted their signal, and deactivated the alarms.
Fucking A!
She knew I'd find the cats and report them to you. She played me. Again. What'd she take?
Just her old costume and gear.
Getting played by a sexy lady.
Welcome to being Peter Parker. Welcome to Peter Parker's wife.
Welcome to being a male.
Wow. Gotta give her credit. She played you good.
Are you smiling? You sound like you're smiling.
We gotta go.
But yeah, this is the Dark
Professor Dragonite says, Ultimate Black Cat barfed on him when she found out he was a high schooler.
Yeah. Well, that's because she was like...
What?
Oh, yeah. Because in that one, Black Cat's actually older.
How old is she?
Like 24 to his 16.
Okay, so she's like 8 years older than him.
Yeah. But this is the dark costume. Can I actually build... Oh, fuck yeah, I'm gonna build this.
The Dark Spider rises.
But now, first things first. I'm gonna find a landmark. To a landmark! We got another costume to make. Where's the closest landmark? Right there.
Landmark Man. Landmark Man takes photos of landmarks across New York, but only in Manhattan. That's where he goes. Anywhere else, no one knows.
Look out!
Here comes Landmark Man.
Things are getting worse than Fisk ever was.
Crime!
Okay, kid. You can't play
And now I'm in my dark costume. But what does Chad think of the dark costume? AKA the not symbiote costume.
That's true. When are we getting the symbiote costume?
Probably not in this game.
When will we become Venom?
I know one thing with... I'm not going to spoil it or talk about it. Anyway, we'll talk about it at a later point. But, yeah, nah, this is basically the stand-in for the symbiote costume, I find. Because, here's the thing. In the comics, Spider-Man eventually got rid of the black costume after the storyline was done, but it was so popular they decided to keep it in the comics. So they had Spider-Man actually alternate it for a while with his original costume. And Black Cat made him a cloth version. So for a while, Spider-Man literally wore 2 costumes. In the comics. And he did this for 4 years. Like, it's kind of hard to think about it, but imagine a superhero just being like, I have 2 costumes. Let me alternate. You know, and not have it be like a super special occasion.
Were these between like 2 different books that he was alternating, or what?
Sometimes the same issue. They would just have him change clothes.
I'm going out. I must put on my night clothes.
Some artists like to draw him in the reds and blues during the day and blacks at night.
Remember when Spider-Man had a sidekick? The Black Cat? A curvaceous young lady in leather.
Oh, yeah, Black Cat, I guess, was... I wouldn't call her a sidekick.
Not the kind you bring home to your mother.
She was a thief! Big shock, right? Well, I hear she's back. And let me make a prediction. Spider-Man's going to give her a second chance. Is it because he's naive? A thief himself? Or is he just thinking with
He's just thinking with his wet shooters. My money's on the last one.
Probably. It's Peter.
I would be the worst superhero.
Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to get Peter another new costume, because we actually have enough to make another costume.
I thought it was cats. It doesn't matter. The metaphor still applies. Dogs, cats. Go away, Jared.
This one's fun.
Go away, Jared.
So this suit doesn't actually have unique power to itself, which sucks, but this one does.
Spider-Punk?
Yes.
Spider-Punk.
Yeah.
Does whatever a Spider-Punk can.
Yeah, and we're gonna wear this costume.
Looks really punk, and he's lame, but he was hot back in the 90s.
Actually,
look out! Here comes the Spider-Punk.
The sad part is that he wasn't even created during the 90s. He was created in the 2010s.
Oh my god. He looks like he escaped from the 80s.
It's true.
That's my bet. I'm gonna take a closer look.
But anyway, we are gonna go... What was the mission requirements for this one? Okay. I'm just gonna make sure, because this might be a silent takedown mission. Forms 3 stealth takedowns, okay. So that's not gonna be too hard. I hope. First this dude. Then this dude. Then da 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 da. Okay. That dude is safe.
Oh, bring it on, Spider-Man.
No, he's too near people. I'm trying to get a stealth takedown here, hopefully. There we go. Oh.
Yeah, that guy's walking away. I feel like you can just get that guy over there.
Now I can.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed.
Get him.
Now we're gonna do this. Hey guys, rock! What? That's Spider-Punk's actual power in this game. Now he's got to throw 10 objects?
The Spider God of Rock.
I'm gonna rock! I love this costume too, actually. It's a nice look, actually. Come on, I need an object. Where's an object? Ah, there we go. There we go. There's a grenade to your face. Here's another object. Woo.
Spider-Man! He doesn't use guns.
No, I don't use...
Spider-Man!
Here's
He kills you other ways.
I find other ways. There's always another way.
I mean, some of these heavy objects to the face seem like they could be potentially lethal, if not severely damaging.
Yeah, now, in all seriousness, the only reason I'm doing some of these ones is because... fine.
That was a missile.
Yeah, no... Now I'm just gonna take down this dude. Sorry.
You broke his neck with your severe roundhouse kick.
In all seriousness, if I give him a headbutt, I would actually stab him. And you wanna know why? Look at his suit.
Oh, I saw.
Yeah.
I saw the Spider-Punk.
The Spider-Punk will always fight for justice. And his shoes.
His Converse.
My Converse. But until then, rock! Hey guys, rock! The Spider Rock, don't you know?
We need Valhalla, the Viking god of rock.
I know, I wish he was in this game, but Valhalla is too good for this world.
He's too good for any world, really.
It's true.
He was only good enough for the firework girls.
Spider-Man, that site's taken delivery of enough concrete to build 2 skyscrapers.
Wait, don't tell me. They're hiding drugs in the concrete mix.
That's my theory. We'll need probable cause to get on site to confirm it.
You'll have it.
Sapphire Beauty says, hi, hi.
Hi.
Hello, Sapphire Beauty.
Hello, nice to meet you, Sapphire Beauty.
You sound fabulous.
And as I always say to any new person coming in, ask me any weird comic book question you would want me to answer. And I'll do my best to do it without looking shit up.
I've been watching Dave this whole time. His hands have not left the controller.
It's true.
Whereas Hal has been looking up a lot of things on his phone. He's been making sure his work schedule tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Very boring, honestly.
Honestly.
Well, let's see. AJ Shim says, if Joel Schumacher made a Spider-Man movie, would you watch it?
Yes. If I'm being honest. I would want to watch it just to see what that man would do. Like, here's the thing. I imagine just like a weird, like, live-action version of the 60s Spider-Man show.
That sounds awesome.
It kind of does. I kind of would like to see that. Because that's kind of what... Okay. The secret to Batman and Robin is that it's not an adaptation of Batman as he was at the time. It's an adaptation of the Adam West show. And if you can take it on those measures, it is slightly more redeemable. I wouldn't call it a good movie. It's enjoyably dumb, but it's, you know.
Well then. Focus bar full. KO.
Hey, rock!
Sapphire BD asks, best Shyamalan movie.
Shyamalan movie?
M. Night Shyamalan?
My opinion, Unbreakable.
You know, I'm with that. I haven't seen a whole bunch of them, but that one I definitely enjoyed because of the whole like superhero comic thing. Also, I remember having an awkward moment with my folks because we were watching it as a family, and there's like that moment where like the guy's like, "You better not be in the back jacking off to the Japanese comics." Or something, and that was like right when I had discovered like anime, and I'm just like, oh no, oh no,
no. What will my folks actually think? But I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not saying that mostly because it has to do with comic books, but I think Unbreakable's the best one because I think it's one of the few M. Night Shyamalan films that actually does characterization right.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, the characters in that film are very important, and they're not just, you know, like people who are scared or anything. And the twist has everything to do with motivation and character.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, look at this weird random fact about this alien.
Apparently the aliens were weak to water.
Like, it's kind of interesting, I guess, but...
they were ground-type aliens, so they were weak to water-type.
It's true. But I'm of the opinion...
Sapphire Beauty says, thank you, with many exclamation marks.
I hope I satisfied your opinion. But no, I do think Unbreakable is the best Shyamalan movie, bar none. I don't think that he's done anything better since. I know some people really like The Sixth Sense, but and here's the thing, The Sixth Sense does hold up to an extent.
The Sixth Sense was not bad.
But
he definitely went on to much lesser films, unfortunately.
The twist does help the movie out in later viewings because it's like you can actually see it be built up, and if you don't know it going in, it's fascinating. But Unbreakable is just a solid character piece from everybody involved. Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis give basically some of their best performances. And I will always defend Unbreakable as the best Shyamalan movie. Yeah. Some people didn't really like it when it came out, and I think it only resonated with superhero drama movies becoming bigger.
But, I mean, he made The Last Airbender, and for that he is unforgivable.
Like, dude, there's a lot of people who I like who made irredeemable pieces of shit. But yeah, like, if you want, but yeah. The Last Airbender movie is genuinely one of the worst films I ever saw.
I never even saw it. I just know it by reputation.
Penis hair, penis hair, penis hair. A woman has penis hair.
What?
So, let me put it this way. So, you remember Yu from Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Okay.
She shows up in this film. Alright.
Okay.
And when you look at her hair from the back, it looks like a penis.
Wow. Nah, man, like, I put The Last Airbender in the same category as, like, Dragon Ball Evolution, where it's just, like, a movie that I couldn't never bring myself to see at the time, and I don't know that I will ever see it, and I don't know that I want to. It's not the same as me in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, where I have actively avoided that all my life.
To be fair, you did make the right choice on that front.
Sapphire Beauty says, The Last Airbender was like watching a 10-car pile-up on the interstate. Couldn't take your eyes off it, no matter how horrible. People died that day. Careers died that day.
To be fair, the only thing the actress of Qatar ever was in after that was, for that movie, was in another Transformers film, for God's sake.
Oh, she was the little girl in the Last Night?
No!
No, who is she?
She was... No. She was the daughter of Caden 4.
Oh, that girl!
Yeah! That was her only other film.
Talk about an important role right there.
To be fair, somebody on the production later leaked that she was only brought in because of nepotism.
Jeez. Then who the heck was the girl in The Last Night? I don't even know.
Nepotism.
Man, the Last Night was the most, like, nothing Transformers movie. It was so sad.
Oh, dude, that movie can go...
That movie killed the franchise, literally.
Well, the film franchise. We'll see if Bumblebee actually saves it.
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
To be fair, I'm kind of excited.
More on that later when we'll get around to streaming like a Transformers video game whenever that happens.
Yeah, that might be fun actually to do.
Well, let's see. Okay, Professor Dragonite says, as a huge Avatar fan, that movie offended me, and I watched it in the theater with my grandma because she was a big Shyamalan fan.
Oh my God! It's like the two.
Wow. So that's a double deuce of horrible failure.
Even by Shyamalan standards, that film is bad.
Well, because they try to condense the entire first season of Avatar into a single movie with a ton of info dumps.
To be fair, here's the thing. That's not the only reason it's bad. It's just the way they handle earthbending is awful in that film.
I know. I've seen, like, the animated GIFs where it's like, in the movie, it takes 5 earthbenders to lift a single rock. And then in the show, it's like one dude just, like, moves an entire mountain.
Yeah, it's much more impressive. But clearly this film just didn't have the budget for, like, impressive effects. Like, on the show, because...
I don't know. Like, I'm surprised. I'd be surprised if they didn't.
To be fair, dude, it's a film made by... Dude, like, here's the thing.
Okay.
It was made by Nickelodeon Pictures, and their biggest production before that was Good Burger.
Never mind.
I need to point this out. I love Good Burger as a weird piece of 90s nostalgia.
I was about to say that if you have the budget to move a single rock, you have the budget to move several rocks, but apparently my 3D animation logic does not apply.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, no offense.
Sapphire Beauty says it is Cliff Notes Avatar.
Oh, dude, no, it's not Clifford's Avatar. It's almost like an abridged, like,
Avatar
series.
the Abridged series.
But, like, one of the bad abridges that were, like, you know, rip-offs of Little Karibo and his ilk at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, not even the good one.
Well, that's right. We were, just last night, we were at our local anime club, and we were watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z Abridged at the end of the night. And it was the end of the Cell Saga. And they did a real damn good job. Whoa. And I can see why Dragon Ball Z Abridged is as popular as it is, but there's definitely always imitators that will never quite live up to the original.
To be fair, like, a lot of... Dragon Ball Z Abridged was also made up of people who were considered some of the best guys in the abridging community at the time.
Yeah. Well, I actually subscribe to Masako X, who does the voice of Goku and Gohan in that series.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of very interesting videos just discussing Dragon Ball itself and the history of the series and the characters.
I remember when he was part of Naruto Abridged.
Oh, yeah?
Let's just say that...
Didn't go as well?
It was not... It was one of the better abridged series at the time. I was personally a fan of Lanny Patore's Yu Yu Hakusho Abridged. That one... Because Lanny Patore has a voice as good as Chris Sabat, in my opinion.
Oh, nice.
And he always had great vocal range on him. That was one of the reasons you watched his videos.
I love our little like Spider-Punk whenever he gets close to the camera with little spikes on his head.
I kind of
Wait, what's on the back of his jacket anyways? SF
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. FNSM. Gotcha. True Spider-Punk.
I actually have this as an action figure at my house too, and he comes with a guitar.
He's buried behind some of the Gundams, I'm sure.
Oh, hold it. I was going to continue the story, but there's crime!
Sapphire Beauty calls out, Rugrats! That was indeed a Nickelodeon show. I remember they had like a thing that were like, still babies after 10 years.
Yeah, no, they eventually did a show called All Grown Up where they were actually teenagers.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember that it existed. I don't really remember anything else from it.
I used to watch it because it was on Nickelodeon when I was watching over my little cousins at the time. And I was just like, oh, it's something to watch. Then again, that's how I ended up seeing a show called Dog with a Blog.
We all know how that turned out.
There's many I've seen many horrors that you can only imagine.
Dave has seen many of the horrors that Nickelodeon has produced.
Yeah, you know, that's not false. That is not false. I remember Eureka's Castle.
I mean, like for me, Nickelodeon was always kind of like, I found some of the shows fun, but there were a lot of weird ones, and I wasn't huge on some of their art styles they chose. I
always thought of Nickelodeon unintentionally as the less mature Cartoon Network at the time, and if I'm being honest, mostly because Cartoon Network had a much more variety at the time. Because they had old shows, they had new shows.
Right, you gotta heal yourself, man. Alright, Spider heal.
I'm good.
Yeah. Spider-Man in a gunfight. They brought a gun to a fist fight.
They brought
Bad idea.
They brought a gun to a web shooter fight. And guess what? I have all the webs.
8 against 1.
But I can also rock. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that.
Professor Dragonite says, "Don't forget how they ruined Power Rangers."
That's another separate story for another
did they
time.
ruin Power Rangers? All right.
I would.
We need to play more Power Rangers video games to establish this.
Genuinely, I have my issues with Power Rangers, but it would basically get me onto weird tangents about Super Sentai seasons, and also how Nickelodeon is very dumb. But mostly because Nickelodeon just doesn't know how to handle a franchise that's not SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah, that's true. They love their like goofy comedy stuff, but anything that's got a different flavor or a sense of like drama or action to it, they're very confused.
I hate this costume. Why is it here? It only ever showed up once.
They're like, this will annoy Dave. Put it in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go.
This game was programmed by Skeletor.
Well, fuck it. I'm just gonna go Edgelord. I'm the Edgelord Spider-Man.
Look at you, Edgelord Spider-Man.
But how many people do we have in the chat and watching right now?
We have 8 currently, We got all the way up to 15 at one point. We're doing great.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna call out a vote. Since we have more variety of costumes, in the next entire chapter, before the next story mission, I will play in a specific costume. You guys have these choices. You have the advanced suit. You have Torn. You have the classic. You have Noir. I know people love the Noir costume.
Stop voting for Noir.
Scarlet Spider, electric, insulated. The negative suit, I am sad, Spider-Man. We got the
Spider-Man Homecoming Stark suit.
I know they call it the Stark suit. I'm going to call it the Homecoming suit.
It really should be
the
that.
Mark II Spider Armor suit. I like this one.
That's interesting.
The Spider-Punk suit and the Dark costume. So people, get your votes in.
All right, let's see. Suspicious Pie continues to vote number 5.
Number 5. This one?
So, Scarlet Spider for him. Let's see. Sapphire Beauty says negative. Let's see. AJ Shim says, time to draw Spider-Man swinging through New York while yelling, crime! As he has a criminal tied to his webbing in hand. Yes, tweet all your fan art to at Hal Dave 1 on Twitter.
Fair enough.
Professor Dragonite votes for the dark suit.
Okay.
So we don't have quite a consensus yet.
Alright.
I think some of our friends have come and gone.
It's fair. So I'm gonna... Then I'll do this. Hallie, you be the tiebreaker. What do you want?
You know, I'm into the negative suit because I think it has a really neat shader on it.
Okay, then we're gonna do negative suit. And this is the suit we're gonna wear for the next chapter.
All right, for the next chapter. So we're getting into the story.
Yeah, we're gonna do story stuff.
All right, I want to see this because I'm invested in this drama of Peter Parker and his Mary Jane and his eviction notice.
I believe I haven't slept since the Fisk takedown. Gotta start taking better care of myself.
Yes, Peter.
We have done that many missions since the last time he slept.
God.
He burns more calories in a day than the Flash.
In all seriousness, web swinging would actually probably cause you to burn more calories, if I'm being honest.
The amount of arm strength that you need to do that.
Couch.
You know, nobody can think of Peter Parker as just like some scuzzy nerd because even no matter how he tries to cover it up, he's gonna be jacked.
In general, they did establish something. So in Superman Birthright, they actually told Clark Kent,
Aunt May,
and she gave us money.
She's sweet.
I can't take this.
And I do like how they don't have to always point out the Uncle Ben stuff, because like you get that little picture with him and Ben there.
Yeah.
So good. That's really, that hits in the heart. His Uncle Ben.
I know. As someone who has their very own Aunt May, so to speak, I appreciate this.
To learn to swallow that Parker pride.
Well, ultimately, like I always view Aunt May as his mother to a huge extent. But
Sorry
yeah.
to interrupt. Just wanted to let you know I'm headed out of town.
But
While I'm gone.
oh hey, Martin.
I'm headed out of town to transform into a supervillain.
How long will you be away?
Oh.
Really don't know.
I really don't
Is
know.
everything okay?
Look, Peter, I'm going through my supervillain origin. You can't understand me. I'm gonna go rob a bank.
All this good energy has been building up. I feel like I need to counterbalance it.
God, why did I listen to Harvey Dent that one time? You listened to
It was a coin flip, and it landed on heads. But both sides were heads. I don't understand it.
Mr. Lee's okay.
Well, you know.
Hello?
AJ Sim says, if you guys play a He-Man game, I will do my skeleton voice non-stop.
Skeletor? Skeletor?
Yes!
I would love to do it, but there's not a really good He-Man game at all. Like, He-Man just never has been good in the video game front era. Even though I think He-Man could actually lead to some interesting games. Hell, I actually think He-Man has potential for some really cool ideas for video games, too.
See you then.
Yeah, like, I kind of missed out on He-Man since I was too young for the original He-Man, and when the new one came out, I was much more into, like, anime and things. So, I kind of missed out on both generations of He-Man, I guess. But having looked back on them, I think they're a lot of fun.
Negative, negative. I am in the negative costume. And I'm sad. I won't solve crime, but I'll solve my feelings.
I should head out into the city and try to pay it forward.
Oh, well, okay.
Let's see, Johnny McJim says that he watched the 2002 He-Man when he was younger.
It's good
Yeah, I actually didn't see like a whole lot of it, because that was around the time where I was like, if it wasn't anime, I just didn't care. But I watched some of it recently, and I thought it was really well animated, and I really appreciated the whole, like, just the style. They had a really interesting art style to me, where the...
Alright, we're gonna do this. We're gonna help... Alright, this is one of the weirder side missions. I finished this in my game. We're gonna help him find pigeons.
Are we gonna use our HM to teach Pidgey how to fly?
Yes. So these are actually scattered around the city. I'm not gonna actually go out actively looking for them, but if we run into them, we'll do a little catch game with them. I'm just doing this to just get it out of the way.
Oh, wow.
Not really hard. This is not... This is just catching pigeons.
When they kick me out of my place.
He-Man.
I'm sorry you lost your pigeons. I ate them. I'm sorry. Why did you eat my pigeons, Spider-Man? They were tasty and delicious, and I was sad. I couldn't solve crime.
I'm confused.
Well, Spider-Man's in the negative costume. I'm just portraying him as differently.
Spider-Man is very negative today.
Yeah. He's like, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I ate your pigeons, but I'll find new pigeons, and I will eat them too.
And like pigeons and some other animals are just like, I'm like, why would anyone try to eat those? I mean, I understand in the distant past why people would try to eat them, but like in the modern day and age, like who would eat certain things when they've got no meat and there's so much like meatier animals you could eat?
What's up?
Just got a tip that the demons are moving on the
I say that about guinea pigs, who are apparently a thing in South America. I know them as cuddly pets. Apparently, somewhere in South America, they are delicacies.
Yeah, they are. In fact, maybe you're a delicacy. Ooh, did you think about that?
I am made of microchips, but I do not think I am delicious.
Alright, we're gonna do a side mission.
I'll do a swing by, let you know what I find. And hey, here's a tip on public speaking. Just picture everyone in their
Sapphire Beauty says his pigeons were used for Game of Thrones pigeon pie.
Ah, fair enough.
Indeed.
Now, time to not solve crime, I guess. I'm such a failure at life. Aww. Oh, look. One day I'll grow into a beautiful muffin or something. I don't know anymore. Somebody needs my help. Maybe they want me to eat more pigeons. I'll see what's going on.
Save the hot dog vendor.
Hello, person.
Alright, who's she?
Oh, I remember.
Why is the screen gone to like full loading?
This mission's going in the dark. This mission's a little annoying, but I remember this mission. So, we're literally stalking her boyfriend.
That sounds like a normal thing for Spider-Man to do.
Hi, I'm here to stalk your boyfriend.
My husband Rodrigo. He's been acting weird, and I just found out.
Sapphire Beauty says, y'all make it hard not to make bad jokes. It's awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We do our best.
Hi, I'm here to save. I'm here to stalk people because I'm Spider-Man.
Any idea when he's meeting
Goodbye.
Tonight, by the detox center in Greenwich.
Okay, I'll go stalk your
Carmen. I'll
husband.
find out what's going on.
I'm just gonna move.
Detox center's not far. Carmen just sent me Rodrigo's picture.
There you go, stalk. You know, oh my god. If I had like superpowers, I'd be like the worst stalker.
I'm just kind of like
I'd
imagining.
just be like hanging upside down outside of people's windows, being like, "Hey, what you doing?" Yeah.
The stalkerette.
Nah, just the stalker. Which is, I'm pretty sure, a super name of some kind.
Yeah, he's actually a Justice League villain.
The stalker. Was he ever in the Justice League cartoons?
No, he was only used in like a couple issues back in Silver Age and shit. Oh, look, I found a backpack. Why did I leave these backpacks all over town? Oh, God. Oh, look, it's
Pizza
a hat.
delivery hat.
It's when I was a fan of Pokemon, but I was too poor to actually afford a Pokemon hat.
He turns his hat backwards. I choose you, Spinnerack.
I was actually a fan of Beedrill. I like bees.
That's Rodrigo. The woman doesn't seem like a girlfriend. I'll get a photo and see if Carmen recognizes her.
You can tell she's evil because she has dyed hair. No.
Oh my god.
That angle. Need to get it straight on.
I mean, you're right, but oh my god. Weren't you in a good spot before?
No, she saw me. That's better.
Okay, yeah. I mean, how can she see you? You're only like glowing in the dark.
I know, right? Hi, I'm the negative Spider-Man.
Are you positive?
No, I'm just negative. Now I'm gonna follow her.
I better follow the blackmailer and find out.
Stalk her.
Carmen, I'm uploading a photo to you. Does this woman look familiar?
No, I've never seen her.
I want to know how he's like sending text messages and stuff via his helmet.
She mentioned something about
He doesn't have a helmet, really.
Okay, his headdress. Because he's totally like doing it that way. He's not doing it anywhere else.
Well, he has Wi-Fi.
He has web. He's connected to the World Wide Web.
Yes.
I'm gonna see where she's taking the plans. I'll be in touch.
In all seriousness, I do like the idea of Spider-Man having like little bit like camera weapons in recent comics. I wish they somehow implemented those in the game. But we do get our little spider butt on occasion.
Okay.
Another victim?
I mean, I've been playing a lot of like Mega Man lately, and thinking about the way robots. Like, okay, so I watched a bunch of Detroit Become Human playthroughs, and then I played some Mega Man. I was thinking how like robots kind of would behave differently and interact differently, and I'm like, yeah, anything a machine sees, they can record and then immediately upload. So theoretically, like their memory is perfect. So, like, if you were, like, a Robo Spider-Man, you could just go, like, record all this, and then go upload it.
Suddenly you become Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Sapphire Beauty says, like in Kingsman, it's eye texting.
God dang it, I was spotted. Oh well, I can redo this.
Fish and mailed.
I just gotta remember where to stand in this level. Oh god, that looked cool. It was just so shiny.
Nice.
I need a photo. No perches with a good angle on this new guy. Looks like it's the
Or,
underside.
I like the ideas that like Metal Gear Solid kind of puts forth, where soldiers began to have nanomachines inside their bodies, which could then like regulate their senses. And for the same token, it was allowing them to keep track of anything that they were doing.
Heh, I'm doing this. Hold it.
Man, look at that Spider Booty.
Well, actually, dang it, sorry.
You hit the share button. Are we sharing this?
Kind of. Give me a sec here. Here, I guess I wanted to show this off anyway. Here's the photo mode. This is actually pretty fun. So this actually gives you kind of options to like mess around and do stuff. I've been posting photos online all the time.
Oh yeah.
And I just think this is just a cool post. So we're gonna make ourselves a little cover here.
Oh yeah, you got all the different frames you can choose.
Yeah, but I like this one.
Meanwhile,
The Amazing Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man. No, okay, yeah. I kind of center him.
Let me make sure.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. And
Marvel Comics Group, 40 cents.
Yeah, and here's the
Back
image.
in the day when comics were only 40 cents instead of
$12.97.
$12.97.
The game lets me do this makes me so freaking happy.
Of course. It was probably like really nostalgic for you, right?
Oh, dude, like I remember reading comics with that exact same logo and square corner for Spider-Man. This is just so much fun. And this is one of my favorite aspects about this game is to do stuff like this and just be...
And look right there, it's the kind of headphones I've been meaning to buy for like audio editing.
Yeah, I just wish that they give you more options for different cover types from different eras of Marvel.
I agree.
That would be like the best, in my opinion. But
let's see, AJ Shim says, comic question, who do you consider to be an overrated superhero or villain?
Ooh, who do I consider? Okay, the most overrated hero is... This is my... I don't think this is actually too much of a controversial opinion now, but Batman's the most overrated in my opinion.
I'm with you. I think Batman, he's fantastic, but he does get so much attention that it kind of gets ridiculous.
Depending on the writer, sometimes Black Panther can be a really boring character. Depending on
Panther?
Yeah, sometimes. But there's been some really interesting takes on him, especially with writers like Christopher Priest.
See, I don't know much about Black Panther aside from the fact that I think he looks a lot better without his cape.
I agree on that one. I can see that.
Because whenever... Okay, so... like, when it comes to character designs, one kind of talks about...
Track him from up here. Where's he getting off?
Oh, we gotta follow the train.
You gotta follow the train, yeah. Gotta use your spider sense.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like character designs, you kind of want to think of like the silhouette the character casts. So imagine if you took away all the color and the character was just like a black silhouette. Can you still recognize the character? And you recognize Batman pretty well because he's got his distinctive cape and his bat ears. But then, like, you know, Black Panther, his cape is way too similar to Batman's.
Genuinely, I think Black Panther, he's a good character. I just think right now he's a little overrated. Especially because I think there's actually better black superheroes, if I'm being honest. Like, Static Shock is a good example of one.
Well, he's a good African-American superhero.
Yeah.
Black Panther is an African superhero.
That is true.
I hate it. I hate it whenever people are like, oh, he's an African-American superhero. It's like, he's not American.
Oh, unfortunately...
he's Wakandan.
Well, if you want to be honest, like, okay, so let me tell you why the Falcon's actually important as a character.
Oh, Falcon's awesome.
Yeah, he's actually the first real African-American superhero made by Marvel Comics.
I just remember watching, like, the Civil War and stuff, and like, seeing just the design of his armor and all that. He's just, like, so cool and tough.
Yeah. No. And a lot of people don't realize that. Black Panther's not too bad a character. I'm only saying that he might be overrated, but I think he's only overrated because of the movie. And to tell you the truth, the movie uses his most boring characterization, unfortunately.
I knew we were coming to that because I know about like all the hype that came out around the movie, and you know I think it's great that people really wanted to rally behind it and found something to relate to in the character, but at the same time they might be like overdoing it.
It's not the worst thing.
No one noticed glowing Spider-Man outside the window.
It's not.
You're like, what's that? It's like, what the hell is that on the window? Oh, that's just your radioactive Spider-Man.
It's not the worst thing ever, but
yeah.
But Black Panther, he's pretty okay actually. And keep in mind when I say,
I mean, I think it's more the climate we're kind of in right now.
It's a bit true with that. Actually, if I'm gonna be honest, most overrated.
Everybody get in the car. Chinese fire drill.
If I'm gonna be honest, Iron Man can sometimes be a little overrated himself. Mostly because I really feel like the movie version of Iron Man I feel is overrated.
Oh well, like the thing with that is that you get Robert Downey Jr. who Tony Stark plays Robert Downey Jr. in real life, don't you know?
Yeah, I know, right? And I don't mind him. It's just that to me, I think the comic version has been a bit more consistent in characterization sometimes.
I'm still driving this car. Not anymore.
Well, until
do
that,
the thing.
do the thing, do the thing, do the thing.
Yeah, do the thing.
It's when Spider-Man does that. Yeah.
All right, get the next car.
Okay, gotta chase him.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that they kind of happen. It's like what happened with Batman, where you have the character who does something really well and is really awesome, and so they get hugely popular, which then kind of results in them becoming oversaturated.
Yeah, Batman especially is oversaturated. And the fact is, he's also... I also kind of hated the claims of him being the most original superhero, when there's actually... He actually stole a lot from people. Oh, fucking A!
I didn't do the thing.
I tried. I almost did the thing.
Young Midoriya, you need to become stronger.
I know. But in all seriousness, that's my opinion on overrated. But let me put it this way, they're not bad characters. That should not...
No. I mean, a character becomes big in the first place because there was something to them. Something that resonated with people, something they appreciated and enjoyed.
In all seriousness, when I mean overrated, I never mean it as a way of saying their characters are bad. I just think that sometimes... when they're popular and it starts affecting other stories in negative ways, that's when they become overrated.
Hey, Shim says, I agree with you guys. Also, Ugandan Knuckles is an underrated character.
Ugandan Knuckles is not a character. He is a thing that was birthed from horrors that we will never comprehend.
Mankind was never meant for VR chat.
It's true.
It was only meant for aliens with potentially 7 to 8 arms.
Alright. Oh, hey, it's Fisk's home.
Fisk's Tower. Well, isn't that where we started? We raided Fisk Tower.
Yeah.
And fought the Kingpin.
Yeah, but I didn't take pictures of that landmark
yet.
There you go. Oh, God, this costume looks really interesting during the day.
It sure does. We glow during the day.
I'm glowing.
And especially at night.
I glow like a bird.
Like a plane.
Oh, I glow like a bird.
Or some kind of radioactive Spider-Man.
Oh, God, I'm radioactive. I think I gave my aunt cancer. I think I might have given Mary Jane. Oh, God. How many people I give cancer to?
That's awful.
Am I the cancer man?
That is awful.
I know. I'm horrible.
I understand our next caller lives in the area. You're on.
I'm going to listen to J. Jonah Jameson and feel depressed.
The thing is, it all happened in a shipyard that's been closed for years. There weren't any innocent people in danger.
Oh, is that your expert opinion? Well, let me tell you what I've learned from sources I developed in my
award-winning journalism.
That shipyard was a front for Wilson Fisk. He's been using it to smuggle guns, grenades, military-grade ordnance.
Let me talk. You know something? I'm gonna actually talk about something different a little bit. Underrated characters. Who I think is underrated. Blue Beetle in general is underrated in my opinion. That's a very good character in history to him. Booster Gold is highly underrated. He definitely needs more love. Marvel characters who are... Daredevil's at a nice, like, popularity point. Iron Fist, I think, is also definitely underrated. His comics are really good.
I'm sure AJ Shim will be happy to hear that.
Yeah, he's underrated as fuck.
Sapphire Beauty says, Bertha.
Bertha?
Bertha?
I don't know. Big Barda is underrated.
No. Marvel Comics, Big Bertha.
Oh yeah,
she's
the Great Lakes Avengers are great comedy characters.
She's a big lady.
Okay, a character. Actually, here's a character who I used to really like, but has become so overrated. I kind of don't like her anymore.
Okay.
Squirrel Girl.
Oh, yeah.
I used to really like her, but she's just her joke's been run into the ground. And I'm just like...
That she has the power to defeat people off-panel?
Well, it's not even just that. She has the power to defeat anybody, and while that's like... It's like, I can't take her seriously whenever they try to put her in something serious.
Oh, yeah.
It's very hard for me to make her...
No, have you seen, like, the... I forget what it's called. It's like the new Marvel thing.
Marvel Rising.
Yeah, Marvel Rising, where they have, like, Spider-Gwen and Squirrel Girl and Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan... have you seen that at all?
Miss Marvel, I really wish it was just a Miss Marvel animated series if they were going to do it at all.
Because I saw bits of it and it wasn't bad. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like groundbreaking or anything, but it was not bad at all.
It's okay, but the characterization seems very boring, which is what those characters' MO has kind of been. Not necessarily Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel has a solid slice of life comic book.
I could never give this prototype Spider Tracer enough.
Okay, that's bullshit. I've read the comics. You were able to do a lot with this shit. I'm sorry. This actually... Oh, here's a fact. The Spider Tracer actually inspired a real-world police technology. You wanna know why we have, like, tracking equipment for criminals, RFID tagging?
Spider Tracer? Spider Tracer.
Yeah, literally.
Whatever a Spider Tracer can.
Also,
what that is, I don't know. Ask Dave. He's here on the show.
Okay, actually, a judge in Mexico was inspired by a Spider-Man comic that had that, and actually used it to track criminals. It's a real thing. The Spider Tracer actually inspired a real-life technology. And guess what? Spider-Man did it before Batman had trackers.
Nice.
This was the 60s. They didn't consider...
No, I love that. Well, because there was like some show a long time ago that was like how William Shatner changed the world.
Oh, yeah. I know that type of show.
And, like, they talked about how Star Trek technologies kind of perhaps inspired or informed modern technologies, or like how their communicators and tricorders related to modern smartphones.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I love that because I love to think that the dreamers, the science fiction writers of yesteryear, ended up inspiring the inventors of modern times.
But I'm trying to be...
Pigeon alert. Getting away.
There's a pigeon. I'm chasing after a pigeon. Get over it. Fuck this pigeon! Oh my god! I'm gonna kill this pigeon tonight.
At least it's not a balloon floating up into the air.
Oh, thank God. I kind of want to see... I kind of want to see...
Also, this pigeon has contrails.
Yeah, I know. Damn it.
Spider-Man. Ground level Spider-Man.
Ground level walking Spider-Man. The worst Spider-Man. The one played by Riker. There's a weird story behind that, but I'm not going to tell it now. I'm chasing a pigeon!
I know, really?
Yeah. This is a side quest. Getting a guy because his wife used to keep pigeon... look, it's a story. I don't know why this is a mission in the game. It just is. But I caught the pigeon.
Good job.
I know.
Man, the hitbox on that pigeon was massive.
Yeah.
Hey, Howard. I think I found one of Pidgey's cousins. Dusty gray flecks. Might have just left a stain on my suit.
Clear. Guy's a little devil.
Give him a pat on the head and point him towards the east. He'll find his way.
No problem. I'll do the same for any others I find.
Oh, hey.
You got the Chrysler build?
Apparently.
How? Wait, are you on like a lower echelon of the Chrysler building?
I think I might have actually taken...
Yeah. Climb that building, Spider-Man.
I'm gonna climb it! Because I'm Spider-Man.
I want you to like climb up high, and then like you find like one of the gargoyles, and it's just like Goliath.
Hey, Goliath. How you doing, boy? Oh, yeah, here's
He can't respond, it's daytime. He's stoned. He's stoned.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Another pigeon's also up on the Chrysler building.
Yeah.
We're gonna catch another pigeon!
Whoa. That is awesome to wall run on right there. The reflective glass windows.
Yeah, it is neat.
Taking you home, buddy.
Like, I don't know how many people remember it after a while, but Disney's Gargoyles was just a fantastic series.
I am now on the ledge of justice. And now I will fight crime! I have regained my sense of self by catching the pigeon!
He's like sitting there doing his own narration, and then he gets accosted by a flock of pigeons. He's like, I will fight crime. Pigeons!
Curse you, pigeons!
Sapphire Beauty says, daytime is when you use Sharpies on Goliath's face to draw things.
Oh, yeah, sure. Alright, guys.
This is true.
Oh, wait, I'll make this costume.
Yeah, let's make some more costumes.
Yeah. This was the only costume I haven't made yet. I might as well just make it. Hi, I'm the Secret Wars costume. And now...
Apparently, this costume was produced when they conducted market research to determine what the two most popular names for a boys' toy line would be. And Secret Wars is what came out of it.
It's dumber than that.
Okay, it's apparently even dumber than that.
Okay, I'm going to explain
Stay tuned, Space Cadets.
I'll explain this costume. It was only ever used for one panel and some concept art. Now, let me explain. You see, somebody was like, Brian Michael Bendis. We're going to get back to him because this
Brian Michael Bendis.
So, this suit was created for a story where he called it Secret War, but it had nothing to do with the previous Secret War stories.
It was neither wars nor secret.
But it had a but here's the thing. It had a great idea for a story. The superheroes were being attacked. Thank you. I'll take it. The superheroes were being
needs more power.
Attacked by supervillains, and they were wondering why that is. And apparently, they went to a mission on Latveria, and their memories were erased of it. That's enough. And they infiltrated Latveria with S.H.I.E.L.D. and caused the country to destabilize. And here's the thing.
Latveria?
Yes! Dr. Doom was down for the count at the time.
Dr. Doom.
Look, that's also another story that involves his girlfriend being used as his skin, as his armor. There's a lot of weird shit I'm not covering here.
What? That's gross, man.
I know.
This is like the plot of the Bionic Commando game.
A little more fucked up than that, but we'll start. Anyway,
start with me.
Anyway, it goes from there. What happens is that this was apparently the costume that was used so Spider-Man wouldn't be seen active during the story, and you only ever saw it for one panel. And literally the story is about them finding out about this cool adventure that happens off-screen. With these cool costumes, or a okay costume, that never happened. I kind of hate this costume because there's much better choices, in my opinion. Like, especially because this is just kind of like, it seems like this is just a setup for a Miles Morales costume that's going to happen down the line anyway. I mean, look at the webbing on it. Like, that is totally a Miles version of the costume. But the Secret Wars costume, it's a costume that exists.
So, the upshot of that, Space Cadets, was that it exists.
Yes.
We have better costume. JJ's video says, "Can you make a suit?" I don't think so.
You can't make a suit.
No, they're all like pre-made.
No, unfortunately, I wish you collect items to make them in the game, but you can't like customize a costume. That would be a neat little gimmick, but there's so many variances in design that I don't think that would be feasible. If I'm being honest, like.
Well, they'd have to develop a whole system for making a suit.
Like, I guess you would have to ask the Soul Calibur people to ask them for their costume customization. So
no, I know how one would do it, but I can see why they wouldn't include it, because you'd probably end up with a lot of really lame graffiti suits and a lot of dick pics.
Dude, I remember Gundam Breaker 3, and my favorite thing in Gundam Breaker 3 to do, now I am wearing my movie costume. Fear me!
Am I popular yet, Mr. Stark?
Can
I hang out with the Avengers yet,
Mr. Stark? Mr. Stark, I don't feel so popular.
Stark. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
I don't feel so popular, Mr. Stark.
I feel like I'm being exploited by Disney, Mr. Stark.
Don't worry, it's better than being exploited by Sony.
Don't worry, it's not as bad as Star Wars has it.
It's true. Woo, backpack. But yeah, seriously, I just wish there are better choices for costumes than that. I just think that it was a bad choice to put in the game. But that's just my opinion.
Are we still talking about this Secret Wars?
Yeah, I know.
Because I kind of like tuned out somewhere. I'm like, Dave hates it. Understood.
Dave hates it. Understood. I will never talk.
I mean, it's not really... Okay, so just like, from a totally outside perspective, it's not even like a good color combination, particularly.
You're not wrong. Let's see.
You know, red and blue really work together the way they do because they're both primary colors, and they are also a hot color and a cool color, and so they provide an excellent contrast together. And that's why they're using so many characters. You know, you get Spider-Man, obviously, Superman, Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
There's so many, like, red and blue together. Because they work as not only hot and cold colors, they work as contrasting colors. It's just really great.
This snow globe for Ant-Man.
Let's see. Upgrades.
Let's see. Sapphire Beauty says, so many people had an issue with the Iron Man thing. I want an American burger. Burger King thing. Why did they do Burger King? Probably they had a deal with Burger King. That's probably all there was to it.
Probably, I imagine. Like, but, you know, there's a lot of weird things with superhero stuff that just, you know, it is what it is. Hell, the Fantastic Four movie from a couple years back had a deal with Denny's, apparently.
Say what?
I'm not kidding.
Well, okay.
That was the most
promotion. You want to talk like the worst deal ever? It was the Power Rangers Krispy Kreme deal.
Oh, no. That one was actually funny.
We gotta defend the Krispy Kreme, guys!
Dude, there was an entire Fantastic Four menu for the terrible movie, you know, Fan Four Stick. That was available only at Denny's, and that was the only promotion it got. At least with Krispy Kreme, it's a little more dignified.
We had to defend the Krispy Kreme from Rita Repulsa, who was totally, like, not authentic to the character.
I think she's authentic at points.
Grow, my monster. Make my monster grow. I think okay, ooh, cutscene.
Yeah. We're gonna fight for justice.
Justice, you say?
Yes, great
Consolidated
justice.
shipping.
In the Stark.
Consolidated shipping.
It's actually a pretty nice looking costume in the game, actually.
Oh, it is. Because they took the classic costume and they added some higher tech details.
Oh,
to
I
it.
remember this.
And that's what makes this costume work.
You got this?
Oh, I remember this bit.
Also, just the seeing it up close, yeah, like that, the texturing, very good texturing. The artists who were doing the texture work for this suit were definitely on point. Hal is someone who has a little bit of experience and background with 3D modeling and art, so I really appreciate it, seeing the amount of artistry that goes into this kind of graphics. Sapphire Beauty said RDJ's drug days were ended because of one bad Burger King meal. Is that true?
I could easily see that.
I want to know what he ordered on this bad, fateful Burger King day. Wait, what'd you do?
Oh, I impact webbed them.
You turn the world black and white.
Yeah, to enhance my stealth capabilities.
That's awesome.
I am.
This is like the best power.
Hold it. Aw, dang it. I was going to try and take a picture of him in black and white. Oh, well.
Sapphire Beauty elaborates. RDJ kept having drug issues and even OD'd, but said that one bad BK meal changed his life and made him stop drugs. Yeah, I heard that one of the reasons why he played Tony Stark so well was that he really related to the character and trying to improve himself after going through such a bad experience.
Well, in general, one of the things with Tony Stark was alcoholism was always been a major part of his character ever since the 70s.
You know, that's very interesting that, oh hey, we're right at the place with like the puddles and Puddlegate.
Fucking puddles.
Puddlegate. Look at all those puddles, man.
I know.
Where people were like, oh, the puddles lost detail and the suit doesn't have the right shader, and I don't know.
That was dumb.
I agree. I think, man, people get so ready to get like upset by every little thing. They're like, oh, you showed us this really cool thing, but it's not in the final version of the game.
To be fair,
so upset. Blah, 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 blah.
To be fair, the gaming industry has had a history of screwing people over on stuff like that on occasion.
I mean, I know there have been some legitimate examples in the case of, I think, Watch Dogs had that really bad, where they had such a detailed... Ooh.
Hey, Willie.
Hey, Wilson Fisk! Oh, man! Video call, too! Oh, he's so considerate.
We're Skyping with Wilson Fisk.
I'm just wondering, like, does he just, like, does this to all of his, like, mooks? He's just like, I need you guys to see my face.
Saving bad guys from other bad guys. Not how I thought today would go.
Oh, we got a good one here. AJ Shim says, if Optimus Prime has the Green Lantern ring, what happens?
Goodbye!
I mean, you get a lot of trucks in space, trust me.
So what happens if Optimus Prime actually
Green Lantern Optimus Prime. I'm into this.
Yeah, no, I'm...
Well, one, you have the most metal theme song ever.
Dang it.
Well, I got their attention.
Alright. So,
because it'll be performed by Lion, but it will have like this epic Star Trek kind of sound to it.
Transformer, more than meets the eye. Transformer, robots in the sky. Actually, I did like the Starscream as a Yellow Lantern. That was a neat idea too. They were actually going to do that for a crossover, but DC was going through the New 52 shit at the time.
That's okay? See, yeah, like, okay, so this kind of goes back to what I was saying about like robot characters and like Transformers and aliens. Is that I like to think that because they are a completely different species from like humans, but they are also completely sapient, self-aware, intelligent. they have a whole like different way of thinking, a different like set of ideas, and I would love to see that more explored. And that's what really frustrates me about a lot of like Transformers media, where they're like, oh, there's Transformers and there's like male and female Transformers. It's like, why are there male and female Transformers? They don't reproduce sexually.
There are some attempts to try and do that, but they still use... The IDW stuff actually does explore that to an extent, but some people have issues with it. I think it does some pretty solid work.
Yeah, like, well, just like in general, like especially I mentioned before, I saw a bunch of Detroit playthroughs, and I was like playing some Mega Man X and thinking about how just like machines would have their own society, and I'm like, why would they act like humans when they are not? The only reason why they would act like humans is to try to please humans.
Yeah.
And so when they had their own society, they would not do that. Also, these puddles are amazing.
Yeah.
Fuck Puddlegate.
Aw, dang it. I almost hit them with the scaffolding. Oh, well.
Ah, so close. But yeah, that's my thing, is I think that sometimes writers are a little bit too narrow-minded about how they portray certain things, because they try to portray them within human terms.
If I'm being honest, my big thing with writers is I sometimes wish they would get over their issues about some stuff and just tell a story the story. Like, even if it's bad, sometimes I just am like, just tell the freaking story.
Well, yeah, well, like what I was saying is that, like, why would robots act like people in an environment that is devoid of people?
Well, here's one of the things I liked about the IDW stuff that they did that I thought was interesting, was like they did... Like, one of the things they established is that instead of, like, having a vehicle mode they could switch between, they established that, like, everybody had, like, a set vehicle mode that they might want to change. As weird as it sounds. Like, you know, some people are born trucks and some people are born airplanes. Essentially, as weird as it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's actually, like, a little bit of weird...
But they can, like, change that?
Some can, but there's like an entire thing in their society that wants to keep them, like, you know, like, to their form. It's like the idea is that you have your body and it's meant to do a perfect function or something.
Okay, yeah.
It's actually kind of interesting.
I like the Transformers Prime thing where Shockwave kind of points out that, like, transformation is natural to all Cybertronian life. We just have no evidence that Predacons evolved to that state yet. And then they realized that Predaking was able to transform from his, like, Dragon Beast mode into a robot mode.
And he's like, well, fuck me.
Starscream's, like, beating him down, and then he transforms into robot mode, and he's like, hit me with that stick again, and I will make you regret it.
There we go.
Again, Transformers Prime is kind of a standout example of Transformer writing.
Oh yeah, dude. There's a lot of good shit. And if you like Prime, IDW actually has a lot of Prime concepts built in. So.
AJ Shim says, New 52, robbing us of cool ideas since 2011.
It's true.
Johnny McJim says, I'd like to get in on the IDW discussion. I just steered into hating on Roberts.
In all seriousness, I like Roberts' stuff a lot, and he's... Let me put it this way. His last couple arcs beforehand got really bad to an extent, but he's improved a lot for the finale shit he's been doing.
So what are we doing here, by the way? We're taking out the Kingpin's thugs.
It's a helicopter fight!
Snake, that's a Hind D.
No, this is the best.
He's got a taser katana.
Yes. You might call it a tasetana.
I have a samurai motor.
I like a lot of stuff Roberts did, and hell, I love the More Than Meets the Eye series. But it does have its huge flaws that got really bad. Especially with the creation of characters like a Node, who
look at this.
Was not really necessary in the series. Don't worry, I'm gonna do the thing.
No, okay, so this is great. Like, I'm loving this already because it's like, you know, look at the physics in play. That Spider-Man webbed this like generator to their helicopter, and they have to deal with it.
Ah, shit! Ah!
Oh, that hurt. Alright. I'm unconscious now.
Okay.
Oh, I'm alive again.
Oh god, oh god! Alright, I can do this, I just
got it. This is gonna be a great quick time event, isn't it?
Yes. That's why I said I'm gonna have to do the thing.
Do the thing.
Do the thing. Do the thing. Do the thing.
Oh yeah, I've seen this in like preview videos, but this is great.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Well, I love it because it speaks to how much Spider-Man cares about the rest of the city.
Do the thing!
Because, you know, if he didn't care, he'd just let that thing drop and he'd go after these guys. But he cares, and so he saved the people below, he stopped the thing from falling, and now you see, like, this gimped helicopter carrying, like, thousands of pounds of extra weight.
Do the thing!
Sapphire B says, it's a kataser.
Kataser?
Kataser? What
Katana taser. I don't know.
Katana taser. Yeah, kataser.
Kataser. Fuck you and your rockets! And, oh, god dang it.
Man, what I would give to, like, have a super slow-mo vision of things.
Well, you know, Spider-Man can sense any incoming danger with his spider sense, so, you know, hey. It's a little bit better than just slow-mo, actually.
He's got precognition.
It actually tells him where where his webs go.
This is the Monado's power.
Yes, basically. Look, Spider-Man's has the power of the Monado on permanently.
Oh man.
The spider sense is one of the most powerful abilities in comics. And yet I still love it.
I mean, it's not even like... It's not even like that fantastic, which is what's awesome.
Got it! I did the thing!
Do the thing, Dave.
Oh god, I'm gonna do the thing! Spider-Man, Spider-Man, is gonna do the thing again. Oh god, oh god, oh god, that hurts. I'm gonna run through this building!
Man, I'm getting like Metal Gear Rising flashes from this. Did you ever actually play that game?
Yeah, I played a bit of it.
Okay, well, because there's this whole part in the later part of the game where you're in like this office building that's getting torn apart, and you run through it like that, essentially. Although you don't quite dropkick someone out of a helicopter, so Spider-Man wins on that one. Press L to move.
Hey, I'm gonna do the thing! Do the thing, do the thing, do the thing, do the thing, do the thing!
Whirling blades of death? No problem.
Woo!
Alright. See you later, Sapphire Beauty. Glad you could join us.
I hope you have fun and you continue and enjoyed it. I did the thing!
Do the thing.
Do the thing. Do the thing. Alright. Let's, oh, this is fun.
He strikes an awesome Spider-Man pose as the helicopter comes down.
That was fun.
Oh, man.
These masks are so awesome. Where do you get them? Cool, thanks. Do they have a website? Whoops.
Hola.
Hey, Yuri. I caught the bad guys, but...
But what?
You might want to bring a ladder.
And this is where we transition.
Miles.
Yep. This is where we play as Miles for the first time.
Miles Morales, the spectacular spider fanboy.
Yep. And this is a better characterization for Miles.
I get to City Hall for my dad's ceremony.
Alright, AJ Shim says, comic question, was Inspector Yuri ever in the comics, or was she made for this game?
I thought she was made for this game, but then I actually... She's not a very memorable character in the comics because they just didn't do a lot with her.
MJ, did they start the
in general. Not the worst character ever, but definitely very unmemorable. But you know something? I'm going to upgrade, and I'm going to probably end it here tonight, because it is late.
That's true.
And you know something? We ended on a great set piece. We did the thing, guys.
We
and
did
now,
the thing.
Next time, I solve crime. Next time, of course. I didn't solve crime this week. I forgot to carry the 2.
Oh no. 2 plus 2 did not equal 2.
Actually, that's cool. The Avengers Tower is right back there.
Yeah,
and we are in the freaking Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great shot to end on.
Yeah, we end on that one.
You guys have a good one, and have a nice night, people.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic, and we hope
you
to
might
see you.
Call it amazing.
We hope to see you in the future.